if you want to know this for your own show, this is true. So my neighbor, I moved out here to the suburbs. No one knows where I'm at anymore because I try to keep that low key. But I'm one of my neighbors. He was like, oh, I'm from Hollywood too. I just moved. And I was mentioning this on a previous show. I go, why did you move? And he said, well, because he had a good friend group out there and he was enjoying the party scene. But all his friends started getting into bestiality. They all started having sex with dogs and stuff.
Really?
And yeah, and like pigs and stuff. So he couldn't get into it. So he moved down here. And then it scared me because in the next week he got a new dog. And I was like, I hope it didn't rub off on him. It was a cute little guy. I was like, oh, please, for the mercy of God, may we save this dog.
My name is Greta Thunberg. I'm 6.
My name's Martina Cole and I'm a crime writer. And I write about the women who are caught up in the criminal underworld. This underworld is dominated by male gangs, from well-organised crime syndicates to local street posses. And now girls are getting involved.
Some girls, they wear like padded bras and they would slit the bra in half and put the knife in there.
What did you do collectively?
We were using weapons,
yeah.
so it wasn't
knives and things like that.
Yeah, anything really, anything that we could get our hands on, that's what we would use.
But you didn't have access to guns.
Tasers.
But why doesn't anyone ever talk about the girls in these gangs? Why are they getting involved and what are their experiences?
Morning. Morning. Hey, how you doing? Sleepy? I found this baker recently. It's really good. Yeah, it's good. This is the best baguette I've ever found so far. Not for you, Pokey.
Prepare for battle. You rock.
Hi, Nagi. These aren't for you guys. Hey, give us a chance.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Point has spawned. Let the battle begin. First blood.
Hacker. Stay there. Okay. Yes.
Point spawn in 15 seconds. Point has spawned.
Thanks for the assistance.
Incinerate them! Already dead.
Point spawning in 15 seconds. Point has spawned. Point spawning in 15 seconds. Point has spawned.
Enemy
15 seconds. Incoming!
Seriously,
Double
the most important thing is getting good run. It's really fast. Right? Is it good on side of me? Yeah. Well, those.
Thank you so much.
He's falling asleep now. Because he was
killing spree. Enemy killing spree.
Come on. Who's gonna make a decision?
Who's more patient?
Sorry. You're the chairman.
Oh. Hey, I'm filming. You have to eat nicely. No, with you.
You're already dead.
You're like Detective L from Death Note.
Enemy double.
Except you're not solving any cases.
Point spawning.
Your stock of Rachel has dropped so much.
Point spawning in 15 seconds.
Very, very good.
Nice.
Thank you. I'm so happy.
It's really good, right?
Point
Yeah.
has spawned.
It's this. Bakery. See ya. Bye.
They desecrate the point. Enemies behind.
Point spawning in 15 seconds. Point has spawned. Victory. Woohoo.
Witness the purification.
Jobs broke swords. Joe Biden goes off on a town hall lecture and the Democrats are long slog. I'm Ben Shapiro, this is Ben Shapiro. Today's show is sponsored by ExpressVPN. What the hell are you waiting for? This is how my listeners secure their internet, and you should too. Join them at expressvpn.com/Ben. Okay, well, lots of news to get to today. A lot of it in the 2020 presidential race. Most of it just demonstrative of the fact that our politics, come on, guys, it's fun. It's fun. I mean, we've got presidential candidates who are out there on the campaign trail yelling at people in the crowd about how fat and stupid we have presidential candidates whose followers are trying to hit other people with canes. I mean, this is good stuff. This is America. America was already great. Speaking of America already being great, The economy continues to be extremely strong under President Trump. There is a new jobs report out today. According to CNBC.com, the jobs market turned in a stellar performance in November, with non-farm payrolls surging by 266,000. The unemployment rate fell again to 3.5%, which is effectively full employment, according to the Labor Department numbers released this Friday. By the way, the number of people who are in the jobs market is now back to pre-recession levels in terms of percentages, which is a great thing. These totals easily beat the Wall Street consensus. Economists surveyed by Dow Jones had been looking for solid job growth of about 187,000. They saw the unemployment rate holding steady from October's 3.6%. The decline in November's jobless rate came amid a corresponding 0.1 percentage point drop in the labor force participation rate to 63.2%. Stocks opened sharply higher in reaction to the better-than-expected report, and bond yields also surged. Larry Summers, director of the National Economic Council, said, bottom line, America is working. These are very strong numbers. These are happy numbers. These are sunny Friday numbers. This was the best job growth since January's 312,000. By the way, we are in year 11 of the recovery. Year 11 of the recovery, which, does suggest usually America hits a recession every decade or so. We had one in 2000, 2001. We had one in 2007, 2008. We had one in 1992. So this has been an extremely long recovery. Part of the reason for that is because it was a very slow recovery at the beginning under Barack Obama, who obviously constricted the ability of that recovery to grow. So you've had this long, slow climb as opposed to the explosive growth that you've sometimes seen in the aftermath of other recessions. With that said, these are very, very good numbers. The jobs growth, again, was the best since January. While hopes were already up, much of that was based on the return of GM workers following a lengthy strike. That dynamic did indeed boost employment in motor vehicles and parts by 41,300, part of an overall 54,000 gain in manufacturing. So manufacturing is doing quite well right now. And people are in a good mood, right? People are out and they're buying and they're getting ready for Christmas. The job gains were spread among a multitude of sectors. Healthcare added 45,000 positions after contributing just 12,000 in October. It's always funny how whenever we discuss the government takeover of healthcare, very few people actually discuss what happens to the millions of healthcare workers who are in the healthcare sector that is much derided and put upon. Like, what happens to all those health insurance workers? Do they just magically pick up jobs at the government? The answer, of course, is no. Leisure and hospitality increased by 45,000. Professional and business services rose by 31,000. The two sectors, respectively, are up 219,000 and 278,000 over the past 12 months. Wage gains were also a touch better than expectations. Average hourly earnings rose by 3.1% from a year ago, which is a very solid statistic. The average work week held steady at 34.4 hours. All this talk that you hear from Democrats about people are having to have 2 jobs to make ends meet. Well, if they were, then the average work week would not be 34.4 hours. And the fact is, Americans are working less for more. They're working less for more pay than they were 30, 40 years ago. Economists have been looking for wage gains of 3%. A separate gauge of unemployment that includes discouraged workers and the underemployed declined as well, falling to 6.9%, 1/10 of a percentage point below October. Also, there are retroactive revisions on the economy. September's estimate went up 13,000 to 193,000 jobs gained. The initial October count increased by 28,000 to 156,000 jobs gained. Those changes added 41,000 to the previous tallies and brought the 2019 monthly average to 180,000 compared with 223,000 in 2018. Tony Bedikian is head of global markets for Citizens Bank. He said this is a blowout number. The U.S. economy continues to be all about the jobs. The unemployment rate is at a 50-year low, and wages are increasing. Business owners may be getting more cautious due to trade and political uncertainty. Growth may be slow, but consumers keep spending. The punch bowl still seems full. And this is the lowest jobless rate in the United States since 1969. The U.S. economy only needs to create about 107,000 jobs a month to keep that unemployment rate steady, according to the Atlanta Federal Reserve. Today's job report, more than any other report in recent months, flushed any lingering concerns about an imminent recession in the United States economy, said Gad Lebanon, head of the Conference Board's Labor Market Institute. Employment growth also shows no signs of slowing further, despite the historically low unemployment rate. Now, there are sort of shadows of some bad news here. So, for example, retail companies only added a couple thousand net hires as gains in general merchandise of 22,000 in motor and vehicle parts and dealers of 8,000 were offset by an 18,000 loss in clothing and clothing accessories. In other words, online businesses really have a serious impact on retail sales. But the recession fear has been surging is waiting for just a little bit. Now, how much of this is due to the Fed loosening rates? It's hard to tell. and the Fed continues to loosen rates in the midst of a very solid economy. But this is obviously very good news for the President of the United States. Almost 160 million people employed in the United States. This is the 24th record breaker for President Trump, according to CNS News. The unemployment rate, as I say, is now at a 50-year low. The civilian non-institutional population in the United States is 260 million. That includes all people 16 and older who don't live in an institution like prison, nursing home, long-term care facility. 164 million of those people are participating in the labor force, meaning that they either had a job or are actively seeking one during the last month. We've got a labor force participation rate of 63.2%. The labor force participation rate has never been higher than 67.3%, which was a level last achieved in 2000. The Trump era high was set last month at 63.3%. Economists say that a lot of retiring baby boomers are accounting for some of the decline since the turn of the century. I mean, the numbers are just astonishing. November unemployment rates among adult men are 3.2%. 3.2% among adult women. Teenagers, only 12% unemployment rate. A 3.2% unemployment rate among whites, a 5.5% unemployment rate among blacks, and 2.6% unemployment rate among Asians, demonstrating once again. And Hispanics are at 4.2%, showing little or no change in November. Very, very big numbers for President Trump. Now, what this should say to you is that Trump should be absolutely crushing his opposition. With an economy that is this strong, Trump should be running away. Right? The fact is that he is an incumbent president with incredible economic numbers to brag about. Also, he's stacked. Also, on foreign policy, in the United States North, Trump should be running away with this. He's not. Polling numbers. Just why? Does that put the Democrats in good position? Or are they a little weaker than the media seems to be? That's all of that in just 1 second. First, I spend an enormous amount of time in front of screens. Probably so do you. Right? I mean, I spend time in front of my computer, in front of these cameras. I'm spending time in front of TV at home, on my phone. I mean, I'm wedded to technology. One of the things that happens if you spend a lot of time in front of screens, you can sort of get this eye strain. Your eyes start to hurt. Well, not since I've been wearing Felix Gray blue light glasses. Felix Gray launched in 2016 with the singular focus to offer the most effective computer glasses on the market with all the quality of brand name designer frames, and they quickly became the internet's favorite blue light glasses. Felix Gray glasses filter out 90% of high energy blue light and eliminate 99% of the harsh glare coming from the screens. Unlike other brands who use cheap blue light coating that are ineffective, they can chip or they can scratch, they get the bubbles looking on them. Felix Gray uses a proprietary blue light technology that is embedded directly in the lens. They're available in prescription, non-prescription, and readers. Felix Gray has got you covered with the optical glasses for work and sleep glasses in the evening that are clinically proven to increase melatonin secretion when worn leading up to bedtime, so you fall asleep more easily. Why would I buy glasses from a company whose sole focus is not making glasses? I wouldn't. That's why I trust Felix Gray. This is all they do. FelixGrayGlasses.com/Ben. Get a pair of blue light glasses from the pros. Shipping and returns totally free. They got nothing to lose. That's FelixGrayGlasses.com. FelixGrayGlasses.com. FelixGrayGlasses.com/Ben. FelixGrayGlasses.com/Ben. Okay, so as I say, President Trump should be running away with this. But according to Real Politics polling average, he is not. If you look at the national numbers, the fact is that Trump's national numbers are not particularly good. The general election polls show him trailing pretty much everyone, and by fairly significant numbers. The last polls that I've seen from maybe 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago from Survey USA, and that poll showed Biden leading Trump by 13 points, and Sanders leading Trump by 12, Warren leading him by 7, Buttigieg by 7, even Kamala Harris is leading him by 5. She's not even a race anymore. And if you look at the general national polls, then what you tend to see is exactly this. Trump is competitive in some of them. He is utterly uncompetitive in others of them. But overall, the Democrats seem to have a bit of an advantage, at least in sort of the national polling numbers. Now, Trump can lose the national polls and still win the election. He can do that fairly easily. He could lose by 3-4 million popular votes. All those votes are stacked in California and New York. That's what happened last time. Right now, he's running extremely competitive in exactly those battleground states that he was extremely competitive in last time. And not a single battleground state in the United States is worse off economically than when Trump took office, which is a hell of a strong pitch. What does that mean? It means that if the election becomes a referendum on Trump's personality, he's in trouble. But if the referendum is on anything else, if it's on the economy, and if it's on the Democrats are in serious, serious trouble. It is why virtually every election's sort of statistical analysis shows that if Trump were generic Republican, he would be up 10 points right now. He'd be in the mid-50s with these economic numbers. He's not. He's in the the low 40s in terms of approval rating, and even in the best national polls for him, when he beats Democrats, it's very narrowly for 48-47 in the battleground states. He's never winning 52% of the vote. He's always winning like 49, 48% of the vote. Okay, a lot of that is due to personality. But here's the thing. All of that is also predicated on having no fun. And the Democrats, they have some personality. And never was on better display than yesterday. Now, as I've been saying for a long time, the best option for Democrats, I don't mean to strategize in favor of people who I hope lose, but Joe Biden is the best option for the Democrats. He's the best option for the Democrats for a simple reason. He's not alive. Being not alive is a real advantage in this election, because inanimate object versus Trump means it's a referendum on Trump. Because hell, what do you think about this cup? It's great. It's a cup. Right? Inanimate objects, dead bodies, they're just there.
30 seconds
They're
remaining.
things. And so people don't have strong opinions about them. That's sort of how people feel about Joe Biden generally. It's all baked into the cake in the same way that it's baked into the cake for Trump. Also, he doesn't seem as scary as the other candidates. Right, Trump, his re-election is going to be based largely on pointing at people like Sanders and Warren and saying, listen, we have the best economy in American history going right now. You want to turn that over to these people? You want, like, I don't care what you think of me. You really want the religion that's break the card of this economy. You want to take this economy and trash it? Turn it over to her. And you say the same thing about Sanders. Buttigieg is not as scary, but Buttigieg, his ideas are eventually going to come out, and it turns out that he's fairly radical as well. Biden, by contrast, doesn't seem as scary. He's old. He's kind of doddering. He doesn't seem to have these same sort of radical ideas. He doesn't seem like he's going to be particularly effective as president. I mean, the man's a near octogenarian. And so the fact that he is unscary is exactly what cuts in his favor. There's only one problem for Joe Biden, which is that he happens to be Joe Biden. Right? His best option would be to play dead right now. Really, I mean, I understand he has to win primaries and all of that, but the fact is that the Democratic population sort of feels the same way about this that my analysis suggests that most Americans feel about this, which is why Joe Biden continues to lead in the race, even though he can no longer speak English. Between Nancy Pelosi, Donald Trump, and Joe Biden, I am not sure. I mean, we definitely have to establish English as a national language, I think, just so our politicians speak it. Because as we will see, none of these people speak English. And I'll be honest with you, I'm very much looking forward to a debate between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. Mainly because it's going to be a debate between the Swedish Chef and the Muppets and Chewbacca. And nobody's going to know what's being said, but it's going to be really amusing. It's just going to be Donald Trump going, and Joe Biden going, It'll be great. I'm looking forward to it. I'll explain in just one moment. First, let's talk about movies you should go see this weekend. So, you're always lamenting, I'm always lamenting the fact that there is no conservative content coming out of Hollywood. Nothing even remotely approaching reasonable content usually coming out of Hollywood. And that means that when there is good content coming out of Hollywood, you should go see it. No Safe Spaces. You should go see it this weekend. It's starring Adam Carolla and Dennis Prager. It's in theaters nationwide Friday, December 6th. Adam and Dennis take you on a wild ride to show you the effects of political correctness, identity politics, and cancel culture. No Safe Spaces shows why free speech is important in a free society, how it's being threatened, and what we can do to fight back. It also takes my speech takes behind the scenes of my 2017 Berkeley speech, where the university had to spend $600,000 on security because Antifa decided to show up and make trouble outside. It's not your typical documentary. It's got animation, and reenactments, and recreations. It's young Dennis Prager. It's pretty funny. It also features a bunch of other voices we love. People like Jordan Peterson, Brett Weinstein, even Cornel West and Obama and Dan Jones show up. It's a film that should take a liberal press to go see. Because we can't agree that free speech is important. We can't agree on anything. Check them out this weekend. No Safe Spaces. Go to theater Friday. Go to nosafespaces.com/event for ticket information and theater locations. Okay, so as I say, Joe Biden is the safe pick for the Democrats. And you know, even his sort of shortcomings, I don't think actually cut against him. I will say this. I mean, he's old and he's slow and angry and militant. Yesterday, there is it's perfect encapsulation of what our elections are. A bunch of silent generation yelling at each other and challenging each other to feats of manhood. So Joe Biden gets into it with this portly gentleman who apparently is an Elizabeth Warren supporter, shows up at one of his events in Iowa. And this portly Elizabeth Warren supporter questions Joe Biden about his son Hunter Biden and suggests that Joe Biden is corrupt. Joe Biden is doing it to stop Hunter Biden from taking jobs using his father's name, even though Hunter Biden, it turns out, is a useless ne'er-do-well who simply cashes in on the fact that his daddy is very famous. So Joe Biden got very angry about this and proceeds to call the man fat, old, and stupid, which is no way to go through life. Here's Joe Biden being Joe Biden, man.
You're selling access to the president just like he is. So
30 seconds remaining.
That's not true. And you want to check my shape on it, let's do push-ups together again. Let's do this one. Let's do whatever you want to do. Okay, I'm not going to get out of this. Well, maybe you do it, but
15 seconds remaining.
I'm not going to.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Look fast.
Overtime.
He's this far away. He's gonna give him a Peloton bike. It's so good. Come on. You can't enjoy it. Look that, and then he calls him wolf. This guy's probably 10 years Joe Biden. Here. Look fast. So this campaign spokesperson, Simone Sanders, she comes out. She says, no, what he meant to say is look fast. Look fast. Oh, that's what he meant to say. Not like how he had challenged him in a push-up contest earlier. By the way, if this old dude had gotten in a push-up contest with Joe Biden and
Woohoo! Point spawning in 15 seconds. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Double kill.
I could use you, healer.
Need healing. Come, stand with me. Overtime.
I always have the
Good
last
luck.
laugh.
Good luck. No. No.
This is so cute, but what does this say?
I want to die.
I want to die. Oh. Well, I've never been afraid to take a few risks in the name of fashion. There's a new style.
I'm Nick Schifrin. Welcome to China, Power and Prosperity, PBS NewsHour's in-depth look at the emerging superpower. With the support of the Pulitzer Center, we start at the top by examining
presidential candidate turned former Kamala Harris and her 2020 campaign has come to a complete and sudden stop. As her campaign waves the white flag in defeat, remember just some of her best moments in 2019 alone.
That's must.
This is simply not true.
Unbelievable.
Hey guys, you know what? America does not want to witness a food fight. They want to know how we're going to put food on their table.
And these are these moments where I really wish that I had taken my psychology.
Would you stand strong on protecting the children from the unborn children? Does a man not have a say in it at all?
Killing spree.
For that woman to make in consultation with whoever she believes cares for her and has an ability to give her good advice that she respects and would trust to follow.
She put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana.
Okay.
And I inhale.
That was the day before he died, before all of this nonsense. Before all the regular nonsense.
Listen, I think that he can
Enemy rampage.
Now, given that most of the Americans would still retain an average to above average amount of common sense, already knew this was coming, already seen this, foreseen this.
Thank you.
It was to be expected.
Literally, Donald Trump plays Alec Baldwin so well. It's just amazing to watch. He's such a good actor.
No and collusion. With the latest polls having the senator of California sitting at a whopping 3.4%.
Point spawning in 15 seconds.
Which is actually kind of shocking in comparison to Michael Bloomberg, who just jumped into the cesspool of the DNC presidential candidates, who's actually sitting at 4%. With Pete Buttigieg sitting at 11.4% and Elizabeth Warren sitting at 14%. I'm not too sure it's considered an upset or a loss. Like I said, it was almost inevitable for her to drop out.
I think that it's unfortunate that we have someone on the stage who is attempting to be the Democratic nominee for President of the United States, who during the Obama administration spent 4 years full-time on Fox News criticizing President Obama. The fact that he had to full-time people on this stage and folks affiliated with the Democratic Party, when Donald Trump was elected, not even sworn in, buddied up to Steve Bannon to get a meeting with Donald Trump in the Trump Tower. Meaning someone on that stage who has the ability to go toe-to-toe with Donald Trump, and someone who has the ability to rebuild the Obama coalition, and bring the party and the nation together. I believe I am that candidate. Thank you so much. Unfortunately, continuing to have lies and smears and innuendo because she cannot challenge the substance of the argument that I'm making, the leadership and the change that I'm seeking to bring in our foreign policy, which only makes me guess that she will, as president, continue the status quo, continue the Bush-Clinton-Trump foreign policy of regime change wars, which is deeply destructive.
Did you read the whole thing?
I'm gone.
I wanted you guys to remember we are being censored and we are being shouted at. So it is up to you to share these things, get the word out, and spread the message on you guys as you vote. I want to remember, if you guys want to support, that's the point, because we are full-time, strictly viewer-funded, guys. We're not sponsored by anybody. We are looking for sponsors, but at this moment, how you can support, that's the point, through the Patreon link that will be below, as well as on that's the point with branding.com. That's the website. Link is below. We have a whole bunch of new merch that's out. We got beanies, beanbags, hoodies, dude, we got beanbag chairs, all types of crazy liquor stuff like flip-flops. Just go check it out. We got some new merch up there. I'm excited about it. I know you guys will be too. Thank you for tuning in and share this video.
Well, I will tell you that there is a lot
Enemy double kill. Enemy killing spree.
I will pass judgment.
30 seconds remaining.
Let's bring in Kellyanne Conway, counselor to the president. Kellyanne, I know you've seen a lot over the last 3 years, ups and downs. What do you think Nancy Pelosi is going to be doing in about
15 seconds remaining.
Reminding people that the requested soundbite is, oh, we haven't made a decision on impeachment yet. And you have people who previously called for the president's impeachment when he got inaugurated yesterday, literally reflexively with the soundbite, oh no, we haven't decided on it yet. I still have my mind open. That's not true. I would respect them so much more if they would just admit that impeachment is a means to the end. And the end is to get rid of Donald Trump because they have no idea how to defeat him in 2020, no more than they did in 2016. I want to say a couple things I haven't heard said. Number one, as of August 1st, you had a majority of Democrats in the House already publicly saying that they were...
Point spawning in 15 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Show them no mercy.
We are stronger together.
Killing spree. Thirty seconds remaining. Sniper. 15 seconds remaining. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Overtime.
Thank you, Healer. Enemies behind us.
Show them no mercy.
Sitting next to the payload.
Point spawning in 15 seconds. Five,
Today on the news and why it matters,
3,
the latest
2,
in the 2020
1.
race, who's dropped out, who is rising, and who has qualified for the debates with
Who cares?
Also that. Got a lot coming up. It starts right now.
I'm gone.
Welcome to the news and why it matters. I am Sharon Gonzalez, today joined by Glenn Beck himself, the one and only, Super here, and Rob Eno, Blaze Media critic, Rob Eno.
Over here, why am I not the one?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I haven't checked. Got a lot to get into. First, we want to thank our sponsor, Real Estate Agents I Trust.com. So I guess I should just turn to you and say thank you to you, Glenn.
Yes, a real estate agent is not a necessarily sponsor of my career. And it was born out of frustration in me just happening to work with the 500 best real estate agents in the country for the Wall Street Journal. And I was meeting with them and doing some work with them, and I'm like, okay, so how do I know? How does the average person know? Well, I learned to come a lot, and I was like, oh. Well, can I just recommend you, or can I use that to find people that I could recommend? Absolutely. So we just put this together, and all it is we're sending you to the person who is the best at selling or helping you buy a home for the least amount of money, buying and the most amount of money when you're selling. It's Real Estate Agents I Trust.
Hey, did I tell you that I actually used it?
Really?
Yeah, I did. And so we did. We filled out the form, and they called us. He called us at 8 o'clock at night. It was in 10 minutes. 8 o'clock at night. I was like,
it's one of the
my
things
God.
we want to make sure that everybody knows we're serious.
Yeah.
We try to call you that.
Yeah, so it's been a wonderful experience for us. All right, so Kamala Harris, another one bites the dust. She has announced today she is suspending her presidential campaign. She wrote an article on Medium and she tweeted out, she said, I'm not a billionaire. I can't fund my own campaign. And as the campaign has gone on, it's become harder and harder to raise the money we need to compete. And I want to be clear, although I am no longer running for president, I will do everything in my power to defeat Donald Trump and fight for the future of our country and the best of who we are. Now, this, of course, took place, a couple days after we heard that one of her top aides jumped ship and went to Bloomberg, which was not a good look.
That's what she said. I'm not a billionaire. Take that big right.
Yeah.
It's very easy that you get tons of money, and as much as these people in Washington say they care about money, a lot of money flows through this
30
campaign.
seconds remaining.
Just the Bloomberg campaign by itself is probably rescuing how many TV stations, how many radio stations, how many newspapers across the country. Dumping money. He's already spent more than anyone else in several different ad campaigns. What?
15 seconds remaining.
New Hampshire and Massachusetts TV stations didn't have primary coverage.
9.
All I saw was 10 seconds. It was just Bloomberg.
So had you qualified for the next debate, Sue?
I believe she had, yes.
She had.
Which is interesting because now, when you look at the qualifiers in this debate, there are only white people. This is the Democratic Party with all this diversity, and now there are no people of color. What a surprise! At least at this point. Yeah, she'll be up there.
What about Tulsi?
Tulsi has not qualified yet. She would break both of those barriers.
And I did read something from one of her campaign people who said that they were not counting what particular poll that would have gotten her.
They really are doing out of the base. She had 6% in one poll, which is, again, 6% doesn't seem all that impressive, but, there's a lot of people with 0 and 1.
Well, when there's a million candidates, 6% is a lot.
Tulsi, I mean, the Democrats just don't get it. They don't get it. I think if they run one of these socialists, it's going to be a Mondale Reagan moment. They're not connecting with people. I've been watching this, and you'll see them. They'll all go up, and they'll spike, and then they'll go spike, and then they'll spike, and they one by one they're dead. What it is shoe shopping with a woman. They're walking over and they're like, oh, this shoe looks wonderful, and you're like, they're not going to buy that shoe. You're not going to buy that shoe. Oh, I love that shoe, and then they put the shoe on, and then they walk around with it, and they're like, it's killing me. And they take it off. They're like, oh, that's a nice shoe. Just trying on all the shoes. There's not a shoe there that's going to make your feet feel good. Okay, that's what's happening.
Yeah, I mean, you think about what was it, September, when she had her moment in the debate, and she went out to Joe Biden, and she got the uptick in the polls. I know. I think it was September, and she went from that, and now all of a sudden it's the beginning of December.
I thought it was a little earlier than that, but it all wrapped together, for sure. It's funny when you started out at the beginning of the year and talking about what candidates can be dark horse and come out of
I remember this conversation.
Yeah, they could make a run at it, and she did. Look, she did make a run at this and fell apart. I was looking back at some of the old analysis that we had posted about the Joe Suno campaign right at the time. I think this kind of played out. I think it holds up pretty well. The difference between Warren and Harris is notable. The candidates are merely tactical polls, but much of the strength of Harris is based on one spectacular moment. Warren, alternatively, seems to have a lower ceiling, but a stronger foundation. At some point, Harris has to clean up her mess of a policy package, which includes supporting a Bernie-style Medicare for all without Bernie-style middle-class tax hikes. A combination that even the left admits makes no sense. Quotes like this still feel way too accurate. She's the easy-to-listen-to, poorly defined identity candidate. This needs to be sorted out as that place is actually going to win. I think that holds up pretty well. What's fascinating about it is it holds up pretty well on Warren, too. She had the same problem. Medicare for all with no middle-class tax cuts, and the same thing happened to her. I mean, this has been death to try to do it. It doesn't work. At least Bernie's honest about it, but he really can't expand past his base. And Warren and Sanders both went down the tubes, at least partially because of it. That being said, if I'm Kamala Harris, just let everybody go, sit at home, do your normal job, go on TV as much as you can, and hope Biden drops out of the... I'll go win.
This cannot be escaped.
We are stronger together.
Hey guys, welcome back to the show. Today we're going to be talking about the absolute insanity happening right now at Syracuse University.
Your champion.
See, Syracuse University is a private research university in New York with an endowment of $1.3 billion and over 22,000 students. It's ranked 54th in the nation by US News and has several programs that actually rate in the top 20 or even top 10 of their kind. By all accounts, Syracuse University seems like a pretty good school. Definitely not some podunk community college with questionable accreditation where professors give you extra credit for buying products from their multi-level marketing schemes. No offense if that sounds like the school where you went. But despite being fairly reputable, Syracuse U has been in the news lately for some less than stellar reasons, and it's looking a lot more like a scene from Lord of the Flies than a place of higher education.
Hundreds of Syracuse students confront university leaders.
Things need to change.
Demanding sweeping reforms that include a more diverse curriculum and faculty.
We will not be silenced.
I felt like I was being threatened and there was going to be some kind of physical harm done to me.
Students are also concerned. The university has increased police patrols.
I felt threatened. Professors have canceled classes because they don't feel comfortable teaching. It really hurts, like I don't even feel welcome on campus at this point.
So you're probably wondering what on earth could have caused all this panic and outrage. Did some students try to establish a KKK chapter on campus? Did a professor go on a rant advocating white nationalism and the forcible removal of non-whites from the country? Have roving mass gangs been patrolling campus to assault LGBT students? What could possibly have these students so upset and downright scared, apparently? Well, it turns out
on the right flank.
Graffiti. Yeah, that's what did it. So that craziness is what we're going to be talking about today, but first I have a quick message from our sponsor, Quip. What actually makes a better toothbrush? Industrial power, claims of miraculous trendy ingredients, multiple modes. If you ask your dentist, they'll tell you it's less about the brush and more about how you use it. That's why Quip was created by dentists and product designers to focus on what actually matters for your oral health, and that's healthier habits. Quip's sensitive vibrations, a built-in timer, guide gentle brushing for the dentist recommended 2 minutes with 30-second pulses ensuring an even clean. Quip also automatically delivers brush heads to you every 3 months for clean new bristles right on schedule. These thoughtful features make brushing something you actually want to do twice every day. Good habits matter to the people in your life, so help fresh oral habits with Quip. Quip starts at just $25 and you get your first refill free at getquip.com/champion. This is a simple way to support our show and start brushing better, plus multi-toothbrush buttons. But you have to go to getqip.com/10 to get your first refill free. Go right now to getqip.com/10. Now, to really understand what's happening over at Syracuse, we first need to go over what's been done by students as the 2 weeks of hate. Basically, over the past around 2 weeks, students claim there have been 12 to 13 different racist incidents, or what they're calling hate crimes. As Syracuse.com writes, the first incident was at Day Hall, where, quote, SU authorities were alerted on November 7th by students of racist graffiti found overnight in bathrooms on the 4th and 6th floors of Day Hall, a dorm for first-year students. Next, 5 days later, there was more racist graffiti found in a physics building bathroom, and an infamous student sit-in at one of the school's buildings would begin a day later. But we'll get to that in just a second. Then, on November 14th, a swastika was found drawn in the snow off campus, and police were actually called to the scene for this. Do what? I'm not sure. And on November 15th, more racist graffiti, this time against Asian people, was found in Day Hall. On November 16th, more racial graffiti and a swastika were found in another building. That same day, someone claimed to have heard another student yell a racial epithet. And November 16th again, the school confirmed it was investigating a hateful email directed at several members of the campus community. And in the most confrontation-heavy incident, quote, late November 16th, an African-American woman told SU officials someone shouted the N-word as she walked near College Place, a main road on campus. Describing the incident, the head of the school says it involved 14 people leaving a party at a recreation. 4 are SU students and 9 students of other schools. The 4 SU students are on interim suspension and the other student schools have been contacted. Look, I'm obviously against yelling racial slurs at someone, targeting people because of their race and or any acts of vandalism and graffiti. But let's think about this rationally for just a second. The racial slur thing, the one with witnesses, I mean, it seems like it was some stupid frat boys who sounds like those students were being. Does anybody remember the concept of proportionality? As someone who's half Chinese and half white online, if I were to stage sit-in protest every time someone called me a racist or sent me a mean email, I'd never get anything done. And again, I'm not condoning the use of these slurs, but how do you people not have anything better to do? And with all the graffiti, honestly, it really does seem like this could be the work of one single troll. This doesn't seem like any sort of systemic issue, and aside from catching this guy, maybe putting in some better surveillance against vandalism, I really don't know what the school can do about this. One incident that I do think was worth concern, though, or at least would have been, were the reports that the New Zealand Shooters Manifesto, or rather a link to it, was being airdropped to people's phones on campus. Since university shootings have happened before and copycat crimes are a thing, I really don't blame people for being on edge when they heard that, and I think it was good that security was increased on campus following those reports. But, as it turns out, that whole manifesto thing was a hoax. According to CBS News, quote, authorities haven't been able to find anyone who directly received the manifesto, the school's chancellor told the University Senate on Wednesday. It was apparent that this rumor was probably a hoax, he said, but that reality was not communicated clearly and rapidly enough to get ahead of escalating anxiety. Even though the worst instance of racism on campus turned out to not be a thing, students have still taken it upon themselves to take over one of the school's buildings in a sit-in, which, if you're not familiar with the term, is some act of hippie commune protest thing. Describing the sit-in, Syracuse.com says that, quote, a student uprising brewing for years at Syracuse University transformed overnight a new $15 million campus gym into a shelter for protesters. A crowd that started with about 50 mostly black students grew into a small village, with a fully stocked makeshift cafeteria and a conference center. Increasingly diverse students and supporters packed the lobby at SU's Barnes Center, tripling the size of the sit-in over one week. Choir singers and therapy dogs came in, and workshops in self-defense sprang up. Students of color wrote pleas, some translated to Mandarin Chinese, of how they were weary, angry, and disappointed over continuing to feel out of place at SU. And as part of these protests, students had been using the hashtag Not Again SU, which to me seems kind of overly dramatic. It's almost like they're invoking the never again mentality of the Holocaust, but it's like you're dealing with graffiti. And I don't really know how many students exactly are camped out in this building, but from what I can tell, they've been there for at least 10 days and don't show any signs of leaving. Far be it from me to tell these administrators how to run their school, I guess, but trust me, if I were in charge, this BS would not be tolerated. And since SU doesn't seem to be in any hurry to address the fact that students have basically seized one of their buildings, according to the leaders of the student protests, they're not going anywhere until all of their demands are met. So what are these demands, right? Seeing as how these protests are the result of, if you ask me, largely imagined or overblown slights, what can these rise students do an acceptable response from the university? Well, it should surprise nobody, really, that they are asking for a lot of things. As Syracuse.com writes, they've really been on top of this whole fiasco. I don't think much else happens in Syracuse. The list of demands students sent to the school's chancellor includes, quote, punishment including expulsion for any student involved in racist incidents, including perpetrators and bystanders. Wow, bystanders, really. Updated mandatory diversity education for incoming students and for all newly hired faculty and staff. Clearer policy against hate speech. Housing options for students to live in multicultural living communities. More counselors who better represent the student body, including counselors who can speak languages native to students. Dedicated space for multicultural affairs offices and organizations focused on students of color. By the way, the school already has a social justice building. Additional financial aid for students of color, because why not? And $1 million for a revamped curriculum that addresses racism. Those are a heck of a lot of demands in response to things that, let's face it, haven't actually hurt anybody. Not that those incidents were okay, but nobody has been injured. unless you count butthurt. But before we go any further, I need to tell you guys about an awesome deal from my friends at Black Rifle Coffee Company. Black Rifle Coffee Company is a veteran-owned and operated premium small batch roast-to-order coffee company for people who love America. They import only the highest quality beans from around the world and always roast-to-order their coffee for you after you place an order to ensure that you receive the freshest coffee available. All Black Rifle Coffee Company blends are available in whole bean and ground varieties, and they also have many roasts available for purchase in single-serve coffee rounds. And the best way to enjoy this freedom-filled coffee is with the Black
Hello?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
So I'm getting my nails done and I want you to come with me to Target.
What?
I'm getting my nails done now. I'm finally home. But I want you to come with me to Target.
Where's Target?
It's like 116 in Pleasant. You have to walk there from my block.
Oh, you're talking about that one. Okay.
Yeah.
When am I supposed to do that?
I'm gonna call you to like start coming over.
Okay.
Okay, later.
Later.
Siege. Select a champion. Ten seconds remaining. Customize your champion.
I am Raw, Lord abyss. The pyre will be filled with blood.
Prepare for battle.
This will work.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And so
Black
it
Rifle
begins.
Coffee Club. You choose the amount and the blends that you crave, and they offer it to you at a special discounted price, shipped free directly to your home or office every month. And if you order coffee in the month of November, Black Rifle Coffee will send a bag of their limited time offer holiday roast to troops overseas to be delivered by Christmas. So wake up to America's coffee by going to blackriflecoffee.com/Lauren. That's blackriflecoffee.com/Lauren and enter the discount code Lauren and you'll receive 20% off your first order of any coffee products, including Black Rifle Coffee Club. Call me a cynic, but I'm pretty sure these students are just using the graffiti incident as a way to shoehorn in more far-left social justice policies. And before anyone starts to feel too bad for the administrators, remember, it's this kind of Marxist, little revolutionary attitude that the professors and administrators themselves are instilling on these students. Don't believe me? Here's an interview with one of Syracuse's actual professors.
So while we can talk about the bureaucratic roles or larger skills of the administration, I don't want to pretend to offer it because the faculty members are very much so invested in making sure the students are supported, and that's something that has been very, very welcomed here as a faculty member of color, as a faculty member who's also queer, and who was just a grad student like 6 months ago, right? It's just very personal to me.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, these protests are just the university reaping what they've sown. But I do want to go back to those demands for a second, specifically the one about students to live in multicultural living communities. At face value, that doesn't sound too bad, but in practice, what multicultural living communities means on university campuses is racially segregated housing. And actually, footage from the sit-in, which shows some of the students' demands written in their own words, has a point which demands that the university agree to offer a same-race option for roommate selection on the housing application for all students. Frankly, I think these students are just overly sensitive racists with crybabies who have a giant chip on their shoulders put there by irresponsible adults who have been force-feeding them grievance politics. And actually, video has been released from one of the students' I don't even know what to call it, cry sessions, I guess, and they're even more unbearable than you can imagine.
You guys need to understand your privilege as white people. You have to understand who's the platform that we don't have. Why is it that we have to come out here and speak on something that should have been done? So what I'm trying to understand is why is it that we have to go through racism with our teachers? Why is it that we have to go into our counselors and deal with their racism?
What professors have been racist? What are we talking about? And does she mean actual racism or microaggression racism? And I am so sick of these social justice activists who tell white people to use their platforms to help non-white communities while simultaneously telling them that they're not allowed to comment on issues that affect POC. So it's like, what do you want? Honestly.
That was close.
Enemy killing spree.
When their neighbor calls for a wellness check. What do you want? And then two students get shot for going to a party? What's next? What's next? I don't want that money.
First off, if it is true that a woman got shot in her own home because of a wellness check, that is completely ridiculous and those cops can be held responsible. But it doesn't seem like that happened at the university, so and if someone called the cops on a party, it's probably because the college party was being too loud, because that's how college parties work. Second, I think it's perfectly fair for students to be uncomfortable with absorbing speakers' fees, which they end up paying, but I have a feeling that this is more concerned with the fact that Spicer used to work for Trump, in which case,
5,
I no longer
4,
care.
3, 2, 1.
And you want me to pay full tuition for those white students to pay for a university who's so my mental health? I can't sleep.
What?
I can't sleep anymore. I wake up and I wake my roommate up. I'm crying. And I couldn't get up until I booked my flight home. I hate it here.
Bro, get this shit out my face.
What is wrong with y'all? When Moses said, stop admitting us, I felt that in my soul. If y'all would have admitted me, I would have been happy at home.
That all doesn't sound like a university problem. That sounds like a you have anxiety issues problem, which I can sympathize with because I struggle with anxiety too, but I don't know if it's fair to blame the university for that, much less ask them for a discount because of it. Also, I'm sorry, but if you really hate the school that much, then why are you still there? Does this person know that she can leave? Like, she doesn't need to be there if she's that unhappy? An admissions letter isn't like a sentence where you're forced to go to that school. That's not how university works. Honestly, these students remind me a lot more of toddlers throwing a temper tantrum than they do university students supposedly protesting racial injustices. I think these students need to grow up. I think the university administration deserves any headache they have right now for even tolerating this. And I eagerly await the news that Syracuse University's admissions have dropped like they did for every college. In any case, though, that's pretty much all I have to say about this nonsense. And as always, I would love to know what you guys think. What do you think should be done to address the situation at Syracuse University? And why do you think whiny, immature college students are so common now? Let me know, but that's it for now. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.
The payload.
I was about to fucking say. If they would have backed up into the payload, oh my god.
Ladies, has anything like this ever happened to you? Watch.
Oh man.
Killing spree.
Well, according to a recent survey by Match.com, 73% of women believe that chivalry is dead. And according to one of our next guests, she explains in her new book, Women Killers. Suzanne Benker is a columnist and an author of The Alpha Female's Guide to Men and Marriage. And joining her to discuss is Wendy Asefo, professor at Johns Hopkins University and Good morning, ladies. Good morning. Oh, this is going to be good. Good morning. Okay, so Suzanne, you wrote this op-ed. Wendy, I know you've read it. I've read it. And you compare a telegram that was sent to a woman right before she got married to a Facebook video. The first one I want to read is back in the day. Back in 1954, is the husband writing it to his future wife. Darling, I shall be waiting for you at 8 with a lifetime of this fad. My heart will be coming with you down the aisle. May God be with us tonight as we pray we will always be with him. Thank you for becoming my wife. My love forever yours, Henry. And several days later, Julie, and you saw on Facebook this video where the person says chivalry is harmful to both men and women because it reinforces this idea that women need to be helped or saved by a stronger man, and it takes away the woman's agency. So you saw these two contrasts, and you decided to write the op-ed. Explain that a little.
So it just struck me as just, wow, I mean, the stark contrast between this beautiful letter that really moved me to seeing this message from this woman basically selling the same tired message that men have been hearing for decades, which is, I can do it by myself, I'm strong enough, you don't need to hold the door open for me, you don't need to pay my way, you don't need to, basically anything that's sort of traditionally male and female in terms of the courtship is just gone. And after so many years of hearing that, my argument is that men have effectively said, okay, well, you said you don't want it, so I guess I'm not supposed to do it, and if I do it, then you're going to be insulted. So they're really lost and confused about what it is that women want, and I think women are just as confused because they've been sold this message that chivalry is bad or somehow destructive to women, when of course it's not at all. And so we have a problem.
Wendy, what do you think? Are we to blame women?
I wouldn't go as far as to say that women kill chivalry. Whether you look at from Cardi B to Beyonce or working moms like myself or even countless others, what we have done is we have evolved the conversation of what it means to be a woman in today's society. And what that means is, you know, we're doing it all, and it basically means that men have to basically rise to the occasion to meet us where we are. We are not, you know, the mothers of our past, and there was nothing wrong with that, but we are getting our arms involved in a lot of things, and we're busy doing and juggling millions of things. So chivalry is not dead in the essence of we don't want men to open doors for us, but what we are saying is, you know, we have to handle us, and we have to handle our full-time job as well.
Yeah, you make a good point in this op-ed, Suzanne. You talk about it's not that we can't open our own doors, it's not that we can't pay for our own food, but you say that does it show a sign of respect, or why is this critical that a woman do this?
Right. So what's been lost in this whole 40-year experiment in progress, or if you want to define it, is the yin and yang, the dance between women and men. And men and women now are completely confused and lost about who's supposed to do what, who wants what, and what women specifically are confused about is men. And how it is in their DNA to provide and protect women. That is who they are, that's their identity. And we've essentially ripped it out of them, and so they become unmoored. If you don't let them do what's in them to do, you're going to disrupt that dance. So what I'm trying to say is, look, masculinity and femininity are wonderful things in and of themselves. And when they work in tandem, sparks fly. I mean, it's awesome, but we're not allowing that to happen because we are infused with this message about equality, which this idea that men and women are the same when they are not. And so that gesture, holding the door open, that we're using as one example, is not men trying to oppress women. It's they want to please them, they want to take care of them, they want to show them honor, really. And we knew this in the past. Everybody knew this, and this has gotten completely lost in the last 40 years. You can see that in that telegram, how deeply that was felt and understood. And women today want that. You read that telegram, who would not want that, right? But how are we going to get there if we can't? I mean, we have to get back to understanding.
But do you think if we're all, I've heard it said that we are created the same, I mean, we are both equally as important, but created differently in our needs and our wants.
30 seconds remaining.
And as a wife and as a mother of two little boys, I believe that the strength of a woman is also what makes her attractive. We are not necessarily damsels in distress here. We can open doors for ourselves. We can do things for ourselves.
15 seconds remaining.
Also open doors for us as well. It's okay for a woman to be strong. It's okay for a woman to be independent. That in no way negates a man's masculinity at all.
5,
all right, ladies.
4,
I couldn't agree more.
3, 2, 1.
All right. Wendy, Suzanne, great to see you. We'll just have to have you back. We'll continue the conversation later. Okay, thanks, ladies.
The theory of toxic masculinity was once relegated.
Point spawning in 15 seconds. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1.
They desecrate the I have to now. Careful. I fight back.
Enemy double kill. Healer.
I'm not finished.
You're hot fire, like my mixtape.
Enemy killing spree. Enemy.
Wow, man. Fuck. God,
Enemy double kill.
This is an old ass team. We have a good competition.
Sniper.
Enemy killing spree.
Good night.
Wait.
Fun police.
They happen to just chalk it up like getting in the game the next 9 minutes. Whatever.
Enemy rampage. Defeat.
You're hot fire. You're hot like fire. My mixtape. You're hot like my mixtape. Like my mixtape.
Thank you, thank you. I'll be here all week.
Yeah, I had enough of this for a while, man. I was play Hotel. Let's play like more Call of Duty or something. This is not good. That's trash, man. Can't do it, man. Like, I enjoyed that game. I enjoyed that game a lot. But it's not as it takes about it. It's just like, you gotta just hold that. You got
Part of this video is sponsored by LastPass. More about LastPass at the end of the show. The butterfly effect is the idea that tiny causes, like a flap of a butterfly's wings in Brazil, can have huge effects, like setting off a tornado in Texas. Now that idea comes straight from the title of a scientific paper published nearly 50 years ago. And perhaps more than any other recent scientific concept, it has captured the public imagination. I mean, on IMDb, there is not one, but 61 different movies, TV episodes, and short films with butterfly effect in the title. Not to mention prominent references in movies like Jurassic Park, or in songs, books, and memes. Oh, the memes. In pop culture, the butterfly effect has come to mean that even tiny, seemingly insignificant choices you make can have huge consequences later on in your life. And I think the reason people are so fascinated by the butterfly effect is because it gets at a fundamental question, which is, how well can we predict the future? Now, the goal of this video is to answer that question by examining the science behind the butterfly effect. So if you go back to the late 1600s, after Isaac Newton had come up with his laws of motion and universal gravitation, everything seemed predictable. I mean, we could explain the motions of all the planets and moons, we could predict eclipses and the appearances of comets with pinpoint accuracy centuries in advance. French physicist Pierre-Simon Laplace summed it up in a famous thought experiment. He imagined a super intelligent being, now called Laplace's demon, that knew everything about the current state of the universe, the positions and momenta of all the particles and how they interact. If this intellect were vast enough to submit the data to analysis, he concluded, then the future, just like the past, would be present before its eyes. This is total determinism, the view that the future is already fixed, we just have to wait for it to manifest itself. I think if you've studied a bit of physics, this is the natural viewpoint to come away with. I mean, sure, there's Heisenberg's uncertainty principle from quantum mechanics, but that's on the scale of atoms, pretty insignificant on the scale of people. Virtually all the problems I studied were ones that could be solved analytically, like the motion of planets or falling objects or pendulums. And speaking of pendulums, I want to look at a case of a simple pendulum here to introduce an important representation of dynamical systems, which is phase space. So some people may be familiar with position time or velocity time graphs. But what if we wanted to make a 2D plot that represents every possible state of the pendulum, every possible thing it could do in one graph? Well, on the x-axis, we can plot the angle of the pendulum, and on the y-axis, its velocity. And this is what's called phase space. If the pendulum has friction, it will eventually slow down and stop. This is shown in phase space by the inward spiral. The pendulum swings slower and less far each time. And it doesn't really matter what the initial conditions are. We know that the final state will be the pendulum at rest, hanging straight down. And from the graph, it looks like the system is attracted to the origin, that one fixed point. So this is called a fixed point attractor. Now, if the pendulum doesn't lose energy, well, it swings back and forth the same way each time. And in phase space, we get a loop. The pendulum is going fastest at the bottom, but the swing is in opposite directions as it goes forward. The closed loop tells us the motion is periodic and predictable. Anytime you see an image like this in phase space, you know that the system regularly repeats. We can swing the pendulum with different amplitudes, but the picture in phase space is very similar, just a different sized loop. Now, an important thing to note is that the curves never cross in phase space, and that's because each point uniquely identifies the complete state of the system, and that state has only one future.
At the extraction
so once you've defined the initial state, the entire future is determined. Now, the pendulum can be well understood using Newtonian physics, but Newton himself was aware of problems that did not submit to his equations so easily, particularly the three-body problem. So calculating the motion of the Earth around the Sun was simple enough. With just adding one more, say the Moon, and it became virtually impossible. Newton told his friend Haley that the theory of the motion of the Moon made his head ache, and kept him awake so often that he would think of it no more. The problem, as would become clear to Henry Poincaré 200 years later, was that there was no simple solution to the three-body problem. Poincaré had glimpsed what later became known as chaos.
Pop smoked and regroup.
Chaos really came into focus in the 1960s when meteorologist Ed Lorenz tried to make a basic computer simulation of the Earth's atmosphere. He had 12 equations and 12 variables, things like temperature, pressure, humidity, and so on. And the computer would print out each time step as a row of 12 numbers, so you could watch how they evolved over time. Now the breakthrough came when Lorenz wanted to redo a run, but as a shortcut he entered the numbers from halfway through a previous printout, and then he set the computer calculating. He went off to get some coffee, and when he came back and saw the results, Lorenz was stunned. The new run followed the old one for a short while, but then it diverged. And pretty soon it was describing a totally different state of the atmosphere. I mean, totally different weather. Lorenz's first thought, of course, was that the computer had broken.
Get the cache
Maybe a
at the
vacuum
extraction
tube
site.
had broken, but none had. The real reason for the difference came down to the fact the printer rounded to 3 decimal places, whereas the computer calculated with 6. So when he entered those initial conditions, the difference of less than 1 part in 1,000 created totally different weather just a short time into the future. Now Lorenz tried simplifying his equations and then simplifying them some more down to just 3 equations and 3 variables, which represented a toy model of convection, essentially a 2D slice of the atmosphere, heated at the bottom and cooled at the top. But again, he got the same type of behavior. If he changed the numbers just a tiny bit, the results diverged dramatically. Lorenz's system displayed what's become known as sensitive dependence on initial conditions, which is the hallmark of chaos. Now, since Lorenz was working with 3 variables, we can plot the phase space of his system in 3 dimensions. We can pick any point as our initial state and watch how it evolves. Does our point move toward a fixed attractor? Or
We took this route, but we're not done yet.
Doesn't seem to. In truth, our system will never revisit the same exact state again. Here, I actually started with 3 closely spaced initial states, and they've been evolving together so far, but now they're starting to diverge. From being arbitrarily close together, they end up on totally different trajectories. This is sensitive dependence on initial conditions in action.
Stock up.
Now, I should point out that there is nothing random at all about this system of equations. It's completely deterministic, just like the pendulum. So if you could input exactly the same initial conditions, you would get exactly the same result. The problem is, unlike the pendulum, this system is chaotic. So any difference in initial conditions, no matter how tiny, will be amplified to a totally different final state. It seems like a paradox, but this system is both deterministic and unpredictable. Because in practice, you could never know the initial conditions with perfect accuracy. I'm talking infinite decimal places. But the results suggest why even today with huge supercomputers, it's so hard to forecast the weather more than a week in advance. In fact, studies have shown that by the 8th day of a long-range forecast, the prediction is less accurate than if you just took the historical average conditions for that day. And knowing about chaos, meteorologists no longer make just a single forecast. Instead, they make ensemble forecasts, varying initial conditions and model parameters to create a set of predictions. Now, far from being the exception to the rule, chaotic systems have been turning up everywhere.
Stay in the zone.
double pendulum,
Going round
just
again.
2 simple pendulums connected together, is chaotic. Here, 2 double pendulums have been released simultaneously with almost the same initial conditions. But no matter how hard you try, you could never release a double pendulum and make it behave the same way twice. Its motion will forever be unpredictable. You might think that chaos always requires a lot of energy or irregular motions, but this system of 5 fidget spinners with repelling magnets in each of their arms is chaotic too. At first glance, the system seems to repeat regularly, but if you watch more closely, you'll notice some strange motions. A spinner suddenly flips the other way. Even our solar system is not predictable. A study simulating our solar system for 100 million years into the future found its behavior as a whole to be chaotic, with a characteristic time of about 4 million years. That means within, say, 10 or 15 million years, some planets or moons may have collided or been flung out of the solar system entirely. The very system we think of as the model of order is unpredictable on even modest timescales. So how well can we predict the future? Not very well at all, at least when it comes to chaotic systems. The further into the future you try to predict, the harder it becomes.
We're running low on lives.
At a certain point, predictions are no better than guesses. The same is true when looking into the past of chaotic systems and trying to identify initial causes. I think of it kind of like a fog that sets in the further we try to look into the future or into the past. Chaos puts fundamental limits on what we can know about the future of systems and what we can say about their past.
Government forces take the win.
But there is a silver lining. Let's look again at the phase space of Lorenz's equations. If we start with a whole bunch of different initial conditions and watch them evolve, initially the motion is messy. But soon all the points have moved towards or onto an object. The object, coincidentally, looks a bit like a butterfly. It is the attractor. For a large range of initial conditions, the system evolves into a state on this attractor. Now remember, all the paths traced out here never cross, and they never connect to form a loop. If they did, then they would continue on that loop forever, and the behavior would be periodic and predictable. So each path here is actually an infinite curve in a finite space. But how is that possible? Fractals, but that's a story for another video. This particular attractor is called the Lorenz attractor, probably the most famous example of a chaotic attractor, though many others have been found for other systems of equations. Now, if people have heard anything about the butterfly effect, it's usually about how tiny causes make the future unpredictable. But the science behind the butterfly effect also reveals a deep and beautiful structure underlying the dynamics, one that can provide useful insights into the behavior of a system. So you can't predict how any individual state will evolve, but you can say how a collection of states evolves. And at least in the case of Lorenz's equations, they take the shape of a butterfly. Hey, this part of the video is sponsored by LastPass, the password manager with unlimited password storage and free cross-device sync. Before I used a password manager, I've got to admit, I used the same password for a lot of different accounts. And I know that is incredibly dangerous because if even one of those sites got hacked, then all of my important accounts would be exposed. Quite the butterfly effect. LastPass auto-generates
Hey, what's up, Ebony
strong
Knight? Oh, I actually
passwords
gotta ask you
so
something,
you
man.
have a different
Auto
indecipherable
if
code
it's
for each website.
like
And
it
let's
might
face
be
it, if there's
personal.
anything in
I
your
don't
life
need to be
you
personal.
want
If it's
to be
personal, you don't have to
it is
answer.
the
But
characters
are you
in your passwords.
homosexual?
And the best part is because it autofills usernames and passwords on websites or on iOS or Android apps and mobile sites, you never have to remember another password again, not for the rest of your life. And that means no more writing down passwords, no more getting locked out of accounts, no more password resets. You can use your brain for what it's meant to be doing. And if you want extra features like advanced multi-factor authentication, you can upgrade to
Locate the
LastPass
cache,
Premium.
then make it to the
I gotta say, it
extraction
works like
site.
magic. So put your passwords
No,
on
alright,
autopilot
just
with
making
LastPass.
sure.
Click the link below to find out more. And thanks to LastPass.
I just have to
for
check,
sponsoring
man.
this part of the video.
Well, I have to ask at least. It's not really a check or anything. I have to ask because it was just coincidental. Like I've been noticing like, a lot of times, like if somebody else comes like in the chat or something like that, like if somebody comes to talk to me or anything, says anything in the chat, usually you hit me with a BRB. And it's like something recurring. Like if it just happened once, happened twice, and I'm like, all right. But if anybody else comes in, if say it's me and you just talking right in chat, talking about whatever. Like maybe K9. Like sometimes K9 will be here, that's fine, and then you'll be chatting with K9. But if like anybody else comes in the chat while we're here in the chat, you'll be like BRB. And I know it's like some of my other people that come through that they tend to be homosexual. Like they only want to talk to you. You know what I mean? So I had to ask just to make sure that it wasn't that kind of thing where it's like, oh, I'm just trying to talk to you. Like on a one-on-one thing.
Of course, some people think that the line should be attributed to Neil Bohr, who did once say anybody who is not shocked by quantum theory.
Yeah, I did terrible that game. I was trying to like think of how to process that. Was that round? So my fault. Like if it's insulting or if it's patronizing, I don't mean to be. Like I really just had to ask because it was strange.
And truly, the more you understand
at the
about
extraction zone. Maintain current posture.
every experiment we do seems to bring out more questions.
Pleasure watching you work.
Exactly. But even so, like I'm saying, it's not the BRB or I'm gonna head out. It's literally like the heading out. Like as soon as somebody else says something, typically like or right after, it's like, oh, all right, I'm gonna head out. You know what I mean? So I'm just wondering why. Because sometimes it's because people have this thing, like weird thing, like they want to talk to you one-on-one kind of shit. Or they just like, oh, this is, you know, like that kind of thing. I just have to ask.
What is it? How does it work? What's it made of? How much does it weigh? Theories range from being part of the divine to.
That happens. Like we've been in a conversation all day. We were talking all day. We don't want to chill. Sometimes fine. We talk for like half an hour, whatever. 5 minutes, whatever. It could be any different time. We talking about half an hour, it's cool. Somebody else comes in, I'm out. We talking for an hour, cool. Somebody else comes in, I'm out. We talking like 2 hours. You know, so it's not a time thing. It's just the only variable I've noticed in the situation was when somebody else comes in.
When you shine it through 2 really small slits, something very different happens. You don't get 2 beams of light, you get this. This is known as an interference pattern. It's called this because as the light passes through the slits as waves, the photons fan out from the slits on the other side and interfere with each other. The peaks and the troughs colliding to form a pattern, which also goes
Cash is ours. Double time it to the extraction
so light
site.
definitely seems to be working as a wave in this instance, but
We're running low on lives.
So the next big question became, what if you put through the photons one at a time? That way you don't have anything to collide with.
Bring this home.
You get something that you would expect.
The enemy team is running low on lives.
So they tried that. And they still got an interference power. Makes no sense. How could these things be interfering with something that's not there unless they're interfering with themselves? Are the photons really splitting in 2, passing through the slits, and then colliding with each other on the other side?
Oh my, oh, I have to read. Oh, didn't check my ammo. Oh.
We're only as strong as our weakest link.
I'm lovely because he tried to meet me.
Superposition determined by the wave function. The particle is like sort of its own system. And when it goes through the slits, it's in the superposition of all states at once. So some of those states do collide with each other on the other side and form this interference pattern. Okay, so now we know that quantum particles in superposition states sort of in all places at once until
switching
the wave
rally
collapses
point.
when it's measured. In this case, when it
No, it's fine. It's not about you showing up. But yeah, you gotta look at it from my perspective. This is why I asked the question. It's not about you showing up. It's just the uncanny leaving. Like the moments you just leave, I've only noticed the variable of the moments you choose to leave is when somebody else joins. It may be nothing. It may be coincidence. It may be me reading too much into things. That's what I'm saying. But I just had to ask because of that. Because of looking at those times, it always happens. Like when we talking, somebody else shows up in the chat, I'm out. So I'm wondering what it is. If it's even that, or it just happens to be like that's what happens. When somebody else says something in chat, like that makes you leave. You may not even notice you're doing it, but I definitely see it. If I look at VODs, if I look at whatever, it's the same thing. The timing is perfect. It's impeccable.
No interference pattern on the screen.
Cash is ours. Double time it to the extraction site.
Once it goes through this slit, it behaves like a
Cluster grenade.
In other words, the waveform that puts it into superposition is the last measured at the slit. So this is where a lot of woo-woo creeps into this thing because
they're running out of lives.
How does this particle know it's being watched? And a fundamental misunderstanding because a lot of people take this to mean that it's
This is mad greedy. If you would, I'm on the money. Just stated they have to come for the money. Just stated the guy would have had to come, but you jump first. Damn.
This is coming out of your end.
And look, I'll come clean here. I've been guilty of this too. It's really easy to get caught up in the whirlwind of what all this mean, you know. It's empowering. This idea.
Yeah, well, if you want to call the conversation in the room with 1,000 people, I call the conversation. It's same thing anywhere. It's just that uncanny timing.
Man, not to mention, isn't it a great feeling to know that there's
Quartermaster's open for business. Stock up.
There's more to heaven and earth than are dreamt of in your philosophy? And you know what? We're still discovering crazy things every single day, so that may still be the case. But not necessarily in this case. It is not human consciousness that brings a particle out of superposition and into reality. It's just the act of measurement. Human consciousness not required. Now some of you may hear that and ask, you know,
get the cash before they do.
Fair question. Basically what it means is that you can't measure the particle without affecting its properties. It's like imagine a swimming pool with a ball floating on the top of the water, a big huge swimming pool, and there's a button on the ball that when you press it will measure its position. The problem is you have to get into the water in order to get to the ball, and there's no way to get into that water and be close to the ball without measuring its position. You know, the closer you get to
the enemy team is running low on lives. Cash is ours. Double time it to the extraction site.
You don't see him on the map? Wow. You don't see him firing, you don't see him on the map, you don't see me down. Thank you, sir. Thank you, good sir. Thank you. Thank you, good sir.
Not really. Because when you point a camera at someone, they change. They just do. They talk differently, they stand differently, they react to things differently. You know,
Dang.
do you think
Hold your
you act
positions.
exactly the same when there's nobody around?
Keep up the pressure.
I'm supposed to do my other channels. Yeah, that's cool. There's no worries. There's nothing about that. It has nothing to do with that. Like literally, it's just one thing. It was just the uncanny timing of it. Like notice a strange pattern.
I get people telling me all the time that I come off really real and genuine and natural on this channel, and I take that as a huge compliment because I actively work to put something that sounds and feels authentic out there. This is not my normal.
I'm trying to get that because I've had it happen with other people before. I've had it happen with like a few people with the channel, and some of them were of that nature, and that's why they did that, because they prefer to like a 1v1 situation. And it's like, dude, it's a channel. What if it grows? And sometimes it's a lot of people, sometimes it's no people. What if it grows big? Then that'll never happen again. When I think of potheads, I don't really think of potheads. It's like, I don't care. We just want to be smoked.
Scrambled by all this so far, a new experiment came along that basically made a brain omelet. Because then we started to wonder, how would quantum entanglement work? I mean, we know that if we measured our photon before it hit the back wall, then the waveform would collapse and we would lose the interference pattern. But what if we measured an entanglement?
The aim on that grenade.
As I covered in this video right here, quantum entanglement, or spooky action at a distance, as
Cash is ours. Double time it to the extraction site. Enemy has few lives left. Take them out.
Of one particle, you know the property of the other particle. So if you could split a particle in the double slit experiment, you can make it so that one
Cash is
particle
being
goes
extracted.
towards that
Hold your
back screen,
positions.
and the other particle goes towards a detector. And that's what they did. They added a crystal right behind the slits. This crystal split the photon into two entangled photons.
Keep it down, we're not done yet.
These entangled photons travel in different directions, one to the back screen and one to the detector. If the photon traveled to
Every
slit
purchase
A,
I mean, I don't know if that's like a class of people who's supposed to like think about it or whatever. It's just people who smoke. A lot of people smoke. Millions throughout the world, and some people smoke all the time. I think that's the difference. Like, what makes a pirate race might always smoke all the time.
Yes. Yes, it did. There was
Because
no interference pattern on that.
not obviously not everyone smoking, but a lot of people smoke.
Get the cash before they do.
No, seriously, take a second, because it's about to get weirder. Particle physicists were determined to find a way.
That's the best version of the song.
So what if
We have the cash. Locate the exfil site.
Aw, damn. Had a little sandwich here.
Enemy hacker deleted.
That information can't travel backwards through time. Take that quantum.
Yeah, they're like right on top of each other. That's hard to beat, and we still came up. Good shit, guys. That's a little hard to beat too. Right next to each other with no explosives in this mode.
What the hell? Somehow, measuring the entangled particle affected the wave function of the other particle in the past. Quantum physics, you are such a bitch. That's not how this works.
Damn, they were just sandwiching people, bro. They were just catching people with the sandwich.
It does?
I feel
Okay,
if you shoot
that's
older games
it,
or
said
play
the
other
quantum
competitive
physicist for the
games,
purpose of
you'd
this
be up
video.
there
I will
in
find a
views.
way
Like,
to outsmart the quantum particle. So what if
Hey, I have a mic.
we measure the particle?
Oh yeah, I just don't
and
use
then
it.
erase
What
the
other
information?
competitive game should I play?
Would we still get?
I
an
play
interference
Apex. I
pattern
just don't play it all the time because it takes mad long and it's boring.
is where the quantum
And it's hard to grow in Apex anyway. What other competitive games do you suggest? If I stream older games, I play older games. It's just hard to stream older games. I think that would be worse because when I did stream older games a lot, it didn't grow that much. But I will tell you that I got a lot of like the quality of viewers and like the quality of followers was better with older games because you get people that like either it's the nostalgia or they want to see the older game, or you get people that actually want to see the game finish, or oh, I never saw this game before, or you get people that come around like, yeah. So I would say the quality is better. You get like the fickle people like playing more like popular or competitive games. You get like the fickle like, oh, just come through like, hello, how you doing? About the pseudo trolling, the fake trolling, the hey, what's up? Like, you get the fickle people that just playing like the popular stuff. But I will say the older games, you get a different, like a much better like quality of person that views, and they're like more likely to like come back, check it out or whatever.
That it ends up at that seems to set the entire path of the particle. This experiment, known as the delayed.
This man said Fortnite. I played Fortnnite. I just stopped playing Fortnite. I grew out of that game. It's like Minecraft. I can't even see Fortnite right now.
Re-up and resupply.
I can't, like, I literally fall asleep. Like, I can't even see that game. It's so cold. I just stopped playing Paladins because I think I'm at the burning point of just Paladins. Like, I stopped playing Fortnite because it's just tired. Like, I don't want to play. I don't want to play anymore.
Relies on hidden variables to work. Hidden variables are almost like cheats, but
It's not my favorite game. There's so many other games though. There's way too many other games. For Rainbow Six or Reach or MOBA. For Reach, I have to play on Xbox. For MOBA, there's no good MOBAs. I don't feel like playing League. I'm not learning Dota.
what's causing the constant? Or maybe it's more like the theory that there's a Planet 9 out there.
Like League, I feel like it's like Fortnite in the sense where like, yeah, I'll get on every once in a while, but at least like Fortnite I don't get on at all. But League, at least I'll get on every once in a while. But League, I'm actually done with as well. I'm just tired of the game. Like shits have been out for years, and I know like some of the top streamers and top players of these games aren't tired. Is that because they've built a community and built a platform on those games? So how even if you are tired, you're not gonna stop your money or stop your revenue and stuff just because of the game. Games are boring as fuck. Rainbow Six is hot. I don't have it. I've been trying to get Rainbow Six for years. Like I just could never get a pack with all the operators. And plus they have this stigma against console.
Comprises the atoms that makes up everything.
Rainbow Six is fire.
Just like that.
Like I actually like it.
Somehow. I mean, it's enough to make you say. Now there's been plenty of theories of everything out there, some of which I've talked on this channel. I'll put links to others down in the description, but none of them have been unequivocally proven. But until we find that theory,
I don't think it has to do with the games or anything, man. It's like how you get out there, like how you promote and play. I just been playing shit. It was on sale for $10 with all operators. No, it wasn't.
Stuck up, then take it to them.
And if there is a theory of everything out there, it has managed to keep itself secret from us from the beginning of time. And if you would like to keep your password secret, you should check out Dashlane. What?
The most I would pay for the least or whatever I would pay for all operators is like 15. And they had it on sale for 15, but it wasn't with everyone. Like I'm trying to get it with everyone, or at least everyone from the first few. Like in the future, that's different, but at least everyone right now.
But with Dashlane, every account can have a big, fat, impossible to guess password, but only you have to remember one password. Dashlane keeps all that information local to your devices, so nobody, not even Dashlane, can see them. And it goes way beyond that. Dashlane also has a VPN feature, so you can browse the web anonymously and keep those data vultures at bay. It even has a dark web monitoring, so if someone is buying or selling your information on the dark web, you can find out about it and put a stop to it. And you can get a free 30-day trial of Dashlane if you go to dashlane.com/answerswithjoe. Give it a try. If you like it, you can sign up for their subscription service that gives you the dark web monitoring, the VPN, password protection, and all of that. And
extract that, boy.
If you never use Dashlane, it is definitely worth it.
Extract that.
Dashlane.com/answerswithjoe.
Extract that. Just extract.
Thank
you.
Shit.
Hold your positions.
Patreon supporters out there for helping me build a team, grow this whole thing. I want to shout out some new people.
This man has a rocket launcher. Oh my god. During Christmas you get a free op. Exactly. I know this game. That's why I got the game. Plus passing the ops get cheaper every year. Yeah, I know. But usually they have a deal. Sometimes like I think gold comes with a good bunch of ops, and one time they had gold on sale for like 20 or 25, something like that. So yeah, whenever there's like a deal, like I try to get. But right now I don't have any money, dude. So like also the game costs money, and then each operator costs money. I don't have any fucking money to buy Rainbow Six at the moment.
T-shirts available at the
yeah, if it was ever on sale like gold edition for $10, hell fucking yeah, that's enough operators to make it worth it. Look how old that game is, dude. I'm not gonna pay like $50 for this game to then get into it and grind it from the bottom up. Like for what? For something that's not even fruitful. Like I said, I don't think it doesn't matter the game, dude. Because I have the competitive games, I have the big games, I play those small games. I don't think the game matters in and of itself. What matters is promotion. Like how do you get out there? How do you reach these boards? How do you get people to like recur? Because when people come in and I talk to them, people are fine. They usually come back, but they get bored by like the game or whatever. And I ask the people, like people it's really not just you, it's also the community that's built around it too. Like the people that make the other people say, like when people come to chat, they want to see chat, but people actively like kill my chat. It's funny at the same time. But when people come into a channel, they want to see, oh, is the chat moving? Like it doesn't have to be like 1,000 people speaking at once, but they want to see it fucking moving. You know, they don't want to say like a person will watch my channel for like an hour, 2 hours, right? If and the chat will not move, or they won't need to say anything, because a lot of people do like to lurk as well. So a person will watch the channel for 2 hours in silence, and they don't see the chat move at all. They don't want to say anything. But as soon as the chat moves or somebody says hi, you see the other person like, hey, and then another person like, hey, what's up, what's up? And it's like all you lurkers come out of the woodworks when one person said hi. It's strange. It's almost like real life in a sense.
Now we of course are evolved to breathe oxygen. We're also evolved.
That's the opposite season 1 characters. Yeah. I like those. Yeah, it has nothing to do with any of that, dude. It's about just like growth, and then later on, like when you have the growth and you have the base, then it becomes about the games you play. Like, are you keeping up with the trends in gaming, or if not keeping up with trends in gaming, are you like, at least playing something at a level that's like, yeah, people will come in and stick around.
Okay, so you're scared of a 2v1?
I'm not in the dark when it comes to this. The only reason, honestly, the only reason I'm streaming right now, I don't know what to do. I have nothing else to do. I don't have any projects. I don't have anything going on. I don't have any money. I don't have nothing. I don't know what to do. So I'm playing video games. I'm streaming. I could do other things. Like I do other stuff, like work on stuff, work on my artwork, work on things like that. But I don't have friends. I don't have this. I don't talk to anybody. I don't have nothing. I just stream. I just play games. If I'm playing games, otherwise I would be playing games offline by myself. But the fact that I'm on, I'm like, I have the equipment. I have internet for now. I have stuff like that. So the fact that I'm like playing games, I might as well be streaming. But otherwise, I'm not doing shit. I do what I have to do, which is fill out my applications, do my stuff, go to interviews, go to whatever. And when I'm not doing that, I'm playing games. Because what else is there to do? If you have any other answer of what to do, exactly what to do, if somebody could tell me, good answer, give me a good answer, tell me exactly what to do or what I should be doing, I will go do it. Tell me exactly what I could and should be doing. What should I be doing in my life? Give me the exact steps. What should I be going to do?
Because they're falling in sync with their spacecraft.
I will literally stop what I'm doing, turn off my shit, and go start to do that. I know exactly what it is I should do.
He's picking up in the back in the firing range.
If you flew straight up to the height of the ISS, you would fall right back down.
Hug it, Tomahawk. Give me a Tomahawk. That's why you don't chase.
Well, I could go read a book. I just finished up Halting State. It's a good book. William Gibson recommended. I read a ton of books. I'm not talking about that kind of stuff, dude. Look behind me. That's not all games. That's books, movies, everything. That kind of stuff goes without saying. I read a book every 2 weeks. Every week to 2 weeks, I read a book. And that's if it's just one. Sometimes more.
Is to get out of the atmosphere. The entire thing about going into orbit is the horizontal motion. Now this is also an argument.
Like that's not what I'm talking about.
Because if you travel horizontally through the atmosphere,
I thought we understood. Like we were talking about more than that. I'm talking about exactly what to do with your life. Like how do you make money? Make money on the internet. Make money in real life. Go out, make money. Go out and take control of your life. Take the reins. Be productive.
Or traveling out to Mars and beyond, weightlessness is an issue you're going to have to contend with. Or microgravity. I know somebody's writing that in the comments. Now the thing about weightlessness is it sounds fun. Especially, once you get used to it. But it actually has some advantages as well, especially in the transporters of a spaceship or a space station, because you can actually use all the space.
Is that him?
Like seriously, look around at whatever room you're in.
Got him.
If you're just like sitting on a toilet in the bathroom, look at how much space there is in the room that you're sitting in, and how much we're not using, how much is completely wasted because we're stuck on one plane thanks to gravity.
You get swole and work out there, smash some old woman and have her take care of you. I'm pretty fucking swole. I don't know if you've noticed, because I'm not really flashy about it, but I have a girlfriend also. I don't know if my girlfriend would approve of me. If my girlfriend approves of me having a fucking sugar mama, I would do it. But I don't think she would.
That shit there funny as fuck.
Our bodies contain up to 5.7 liters of blood that moves nutrients around to give our various organs.
And the bottom of the
But that's hilarious. But yeah, exactly. You gotta resort. We gotta resort to fucking jokes or making light of the matter. Like I always joke as well, but we have to resort to jokes because what else is there? There's no real shit.
Right there.
How's that wrong? Oh my god. That's yeah.
Not you.
I got like the framework.
Great here on Earth, it helps with that.
I got the framework.
Staying conscious thing, but
I'm just not a flaunter.
it just adds up to a whole lot of unnecessary pressure.
So much heat. The rocket launcher.
Is you got fully automatic. Couldn't even get him.
Good.
You know, if you were
The
good, you
rocket
could.
launcher. I never even shot at
If you were
him.
good,
I
you
kicked
get
your ass
jacket.
though, but I
If you
never
were good,
shot
you
him. I never shot at him.
Activated and working against bones to keep you from collapsing to the floor.
They're not floating out here, fucking hoodies and shit.
Body starts to atrophy. It begins to
All day. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to keep your shit covered, keep your shit low key when you walk around. But I get that from fighting. Fighting will teach you that kind of thing. You notice like the only people that really cover themselves up a lot, like obviously not the fucking Asperger MMA people, like not to be insulting, but yeah, the fucking Asperger MMA people, like yeah, yo, tough muscle shit, blah blah blah. But it's mostly sports people that fucking be flaunty about everyday, like all of their stuff. But actually, like fighters are actually low key. Typically, a fighter wears the same shit, hoodies and shit every day, cover their stuff. Fighting teaches you at least that. Sports is supposed to teach you that, but for some reason there's a disconnect. While you have some people, yeah, they're pretty low key about it, it's also a very flashy thing.
Low on lives. Eliminate them.
Imagine the worst hangover you've had in your life while having the worst flu you've ever had in your life.
Cash is ours. Double time it to the extraction site. One tango left. Take him
To be
out.
fair, astronauts would be totally into it.
Show me, I look kind of skinny. I'm far from skinny. I'm not skinny at all.
Risking their life and limb in the name of science.
I'm the opposite of skinny. I'm actually on the way to being fat.
But if we really are going to colonize other places in our solar system, at some point regular people are going to have to make this journey. And we're going to have to start getting serious about the idea of artificial gravity. And hey, don't take it from me, Andy Weir, the author of The Martian, agrees with that.
Most of the effects
Lives low. Make them count.
go away in time. But exactly as you say in your video, yeah, okay, so you just spent several months in 0G, and now you're suddenly in 0.4G, you know, on Mars. You just be like, you can't just have a Mars mission start with like 2 weeks of
Nah, I'm not skinny at all. Good game, another good game. We're on a streak right now.
Anything, I know a lot of you guys out there right now.
Feeling good. I'm glad I stopped playing Paladins.
Andy Weir review for all its worth. My response to you is, yes, I am. Alright, so if we're going to get serious about artificial gravity in the near term, there's really only a couple of options for us. Imagine you're floating in orbit at a steady speed, and then you fire the engine and accelerator like forward.
Well, yeah, man. If you have any, I've had a ton of the so-called scholars or suggestions, or people come in and try to tell you what to do. Like, tell me. Literally, I'm open to suggestions. I'm open to all ideas that are real. Tell me exactly what steps I need to take. What do I need to do today or tomorrow? Tomorrow, what should I get up and go do to start changing my life, to start making money, to start doing whatever? What is it that I should do? Go tomorrow. All right, tomorrow, go do X. And I will do that and see how it goes. And I will continue to, if it's something, it doesn't have to be results in one day. If it's something that seems like, all right, yeah, I actually made the right decision today rather than playing video games or just doing some shit, I will continue to do that.
Nuclear propulsion, neither of which can get anywhere close to 1G of acceleration. Of course, we don't have to travel fully at 1G to avert the worst effects of weightlessness, but even to reach some significant percentage of 1G, you'd have to scale these engines way up. And besides that, there's the issue of fuel. Ion and nuclear drives are efficient, but you do still require fuel. And at a certain point, the fuel gets so heavy that it can't accelerate its own mass. Even the Orion Boom Boom machine concept, while you can reach some insane speeds, you still at some point would run out of nuclear bombs. Plus there's the problem that when you flip around to decelerate at 1G, you would be flying directly into nuclear explosions, so not ideal. The possibility of flying at 1G is pretty interesting though, because after a few months of that constant acceleration, it adds up and you can actually reach relativistic speeds. And by relativistic, I mean, a significant percentage of the speed of light. And as we all know, when you start reaching those kinds of speeds, time starts doing some interesting things. A 1G nuclear rocket could reach nearby stars easily. In fact, theoretically, we could span the entire width of the Milky Way galaxy in 12 years of constant 1G acceleration.
If I was your video game program, no, I'm not a program.
Open for business.
Back here on Earth, for the rest of us, 113,243 years have passed. A 1G ship.
Well, now I know you're trolling me. You're trolling me, right?
Of course, by the time you got there, that edge would have receded quite a bit.
I'm gonna just stop right there.
The Earth would be gone, as well as the Sun, the Milky Way. Most things, really. But ultimately, it's the fuel that's the problem.
GG.
with 1G accelerator.
On that conversation.
Even if we had an engine that could perfectly convert
Locate the cache, then make it to the extraction site.
annihilation engine, it would still take
You told me to
62
get
metric
another
tons of
job,
fuel
dude.
per 1 kilogram of mass to reach the black hole.
You just listen back, read back what you just said, and understand why that would be enough to make me think that you're trolling or shut down the conversation. Read that back in the conversation that we're having right now. Read that right back and think.
Camping up on the top, on the top of the mountain.
How could that be? Like, I'm sorry if I'm offending you, but I feel offended.
Expired.
I'm sorry if I'm coming off annoying right now. Just read that back.
Errant hydrogen in the interstellar medium, and then
Enemy
use that to
squad
drive
has the
fusion
cache.
engine, so you don't
Stop
have to
them from
carry it all
extracting
with
it.
you. Needless to say, there are a number of design challenges for something like that. Not to mention, you would still have to perfect fusion energy. So unless we have some kind of massive breakthrough in
They're extracting the cache.
a 1G
Stop them.
accelerating ship is really more science fiction than science. Which brings us to the other possible approach for creating artificial gravity, which is the old you spin me right round, baby, right round like a record, baby,
What?
right round, round, round approach.
You let them get away with the cache. No one gets
It's
paid.
far more efficient
Physics.
with current technology anyway to simulate a G-force by spinning a spacecraft. A rotating body can provide artificial gravity by changing the direction of an astronaut's movement rotationally. And what's another word for a change in direction of a moving object? Acceleration. So you experience constant acceleration in directions that add up to feel as if you're being pushed away from the rotational axis.
Every
Emphasis on
purchase
the word
counts.
feel,
Choose carefully.
because rotational gravity isn't exactly the same as regular gravity. Like in a 1G ship, the downward force of acceleration would feel exactly like the gravity that you and I experience every day. Not exactly the same on a rotating habitat. One of the most extreme and popular proposed habitats that use rotational gravity is O'Neill cylinders. Physicist Gerard O'Neill first proposed this design, suggesting it be 20 miles long
Get the
with a
cache
4
to the
mile
extraction
diameter, which would require 28 rotations per hour to target 1G. But even at this insane scale, that rotational gravity would still feel different from what we're used to, especially to
You know why not?
just standing still, you might be fine.
Yeah.
You might be okay.
Why
you
not
might
get
not
and
really
go
feel
invest your
anything.
money?
As soon as you turn your
Dude.
head, the fluids in your ear would swap
I'm gonna end that
around
conversation,
differently
man.
than they normally do.
You don't understand.
Enemy squad has the cache.
So we could just leave it at
Camping
that.
ass nigga, bum ass bitch.
And again, you haven't been here for a while. Night. Oh, definitely don't. Yes, I'm done talking about this topic. My fault. Don't feel offended. Don't feel anything. Don't worry about it. I don't know if you've been here like the past 5 months or 4 months. You may have or may have not. You may have been lurking or not lurking. I don't know how much you're informed on the situation or how much of what I've been in. I'm not gonna run through it or run over it again, like throughout everything. And if you are missing that information, then that's fine. That's cool too. And there's no offense to you, no slight to you. Don't worry about it. Just that.
Yeah, I'm tough.
Basically, your head would feel like a balloon tied to a concrete wall.
Quartermaster's open for
Regardless,
business.
there are a lot of
Stock up.
speculative designs online, including one called Agamemnon, an interplanetary ship with unrealistically beefy ion drive and telescoping arms that could rotate at an angle, so you could get both linear and rotational gravity. NASA has a design that spins a small habitat around a central.
You're telling me? Let me ask you something. How are you doing in work right now? And this is not an offense to you. This is not a slight to you. This is nothing coming your way. How are you doing in life right now financially?
Any plans that they have right now are just really far in the future. Even though Jeff Bezos was
How are you doing as far as work? How are you doing? Are you able to just start a business? Are you willing to? Do you want to, or do you not want to? Do you not have those ambitions? Are you willing to? Do you have any aspirations to start a business?
On the SpaceX side, there are some designs and ideas out there for using the Starship to do some kind of rotation to create gravity on there, but none of them.
All right, because we could talk about literally anything else, but you're on a topic that I don't want to converse with because you're speaking in ways that are offending me, but you may not. It may not be your intention because you don't know, and you're not doing anything in particular that's wrong. You're just speaking how you feel, which is fine. But I am offended because of the conversation, for sure, because you may not be informed about the situation.
But is that big enough to avoid the worst of the orientation issues? Does this
Cache is at the extraction zone.
Plan to own a franchise. Okay, cool. What steps are you taking to do so? And how are you financially right now? Oh, nice. That was nice.
Oh, you had that. He was laying down.
He was laying down. I think he thought he was like actually down.
Yeah, like we literally talk about something else. Let's just not talk about trying to tell you what to do as far as that. that is not realistic steps. That's just telling you, oh man, I don't got no money. You should get a job. Okay. You should know, like, you prove yourself not to be like dense or anything or thick or anything like that, right? So you prove yourself to be that, but at the same time, you said probably the most thick statement you've ever said, the most dense statement you've ever said. Like, it was like, oh, just get a job.
Oh, reality is so boring. Can't we just build a machine that just turns gravity on and off? No, we can't. But what if we could?
Cluster nade available.
Manipulating gravity itself would solve a lot more than just the
education and looking for a new job. That's what you're doing right now, right? So you don't have a job currently, or you have one currently and you're looking for a new one.
Your ship would be drawn toward that gravity well. And if you could manipulate it so that it stayed about a kilometer in front of your ship, like a carrot being dangled in front of a horse, you would just constantly be falling toward it and be propulsed that way. Or what if you could create anti-gravity? Like, that would be an easy way to just get off of Earth, whether you're going up into space.
No, at the moment, right?
Hop across town.
So, all right, that's actually perfect. So how do you think, or where do you think I would come from being offended by you just telling me the blanket or blank statement of just get a job? I bet I'm telling you because you're looking for another job right now, right? What if I tell you just get another job? Right now, you're looking for another job. I just say, hey, just get another job. You don't see how that could be offensive? You don't see how that could be annoying as fuck? Especially if we're people that have had conversations before and we've proven that we're not like surface, at least. You don't see how that could be like. Now I feel even more annoyed now. No, at the moment, yeah, just get your old job back, or just get another job tomorrow. Just get up. Why don't you just get another job?
He used a cluster on one person, even though he had a fully automatic.
Got a million excuses, but a nigga don't tell you motherfuckers how to play.
Yo.
Set bullshit up and play the game.
Thank you for that bit of comedy, though.
Detector that we could even imagine would be able to pick up on it. But if we saw antiparticles behaving in a strange way, that might prove the existence of gravitons and maybe give us a way to bend into our.
Thank you for that. At least you gotta laugh. I could take that laugh. I could have used that laugh for real. Like in all seriousness.
We ain't this gonna buy a chopper, y'all. I need 15 cash for a chopper. They're really gonna piss their ass off.
This would be a game changer. Right now, this all sounds like science fiction. But
even if they
who knows what the future will bring.
Chopper.
Right now, gravity remains a mystery. But if we can unlock its secrets, it could open up the entire.
Enemy CUAV established above.
Let's see where things take us. Alright, thanks for watching this video, and a huge shout out real quick to the Patreon supporters that support this channel, my Answer Files who are helping me build a team and build a huge community around this thing. I love you guys, thank you so much.
Cluster grenade.
I've got to shout out some people who just joined recently. Smokey, Zachary Edwards,
Low on
Paul
lives.
Chateau,
Eliminate
David
them.
Ward, Patrick Shirley, Carrie Baldenu, Matthew Shepard, Ash Morris, Hunter Coffin de Kiefer, Sigur Snare Erickson, Alexander Strauss, Nicholas Bui, Lingenson Brigvinson, lots of Scandinavians in this one. Doug Cam, Chorborn Krorg, Taryn Lexton, Steve Saxton.
And he still, damn it, man, he just turned around. I was good. Fuck.
This shit.
Okay, if I get my old job back, where do we stand then?
Like
Your old job? What do you mean where we stand? I have nothing to do with what you're doing with your life. I'm just saying that was funny. Like, I think you still might not understand. I think you still are missing the main point of why I was even asking those questions and where we're at right now, as far as in your situation.
T-shirts available at stores. answerwithjoe.com.
I think it still got missed on you, which is crazy. I'm hoping it didn't.
You guys go out there now, have an eye-opening rest of the week. See you. Okay. This video is supported by Brilliant.org. There are really only three things about time that we don't understand. The past, the present, and the future. Because the past once existed and now does not exist. The future doesn't exist, and the present, well, you can really catch up to. Like right now, you're watching this video. The future is this video. I'm going to do something that you've never seen me do in a video before. And that T that I just did is now not. And the present is right this very moment. And ironically, by the time you've even processed that moment, it's already the past. The passage of time is perhaps the biggest guiding force in our lives. We celebrate it, we mourn it, we schedule our lives around it. The very passage of time is the thing that makes our existence possible, and it is also the very thing that will eventually take away our existence. So it's no surprise, given its importance, that a lot of brains have worked on what time is for years. We've got a lot of different interpretations.
I can, but don't know
and still,
how.
what exactly it is, and how
Don't know about. I
remains a
can,
mystery.
but I don't know about. But it's cool. What don't you know about? You can, but don't know about, or don't know how. Are you saying? Did I not just finish saying the exact same thing? I just finished saying the exact same thing. I don't know how. If somebody told me what to do or how to do it, I would do it.
More and more hard to understand. Insert Doctor Who timey-wimey reference here. And our study of time goes back long before we even have records.
I feel like I just said the same thing, but your response to me when I said exactly what to do or how to do it, your response to me was, "Hey, just get a job." Now you're saying the difference is you don't know how, and I don't know how. I don't know how. Yeah, exactly. Like, you need to re-explain that one.
Bonus to whoever frags their last man. Cash is at the extraction zone. Maintain current.
I'm doing what you're supposed to do. I'm sending out applications. If I get an interview, I go on an interview. Most of the interviews I nail, and I actually get a second interview. But somehow, some way, I'm not landing these jobs for different reasons, many different reasons, a lot of different curveballs here and there. The last job I had was Kmart. I'm still technically hired there, but I'm not being given hours. But I'm supposedly on payroll. But yeah, you went way too fast on that one. Because you're saying, oh, the difference between you and me is I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do either, other than what you're supposed to do. Fill out applications.
Which is the length it takes for light to travel in 299,792,458th of a second. I should have that memorized by now. Of course, we don't need a clock to feel the passage of time. We actually have our own little internal clocks. One of them you might consider would just be the heartbeat, which beats at an average of around 70 beats per minute. And then there's our circadian rhythms, which comes from the hypothalamus. This kind of secretes hormones at different times of day, giving us
Enemy CUAV
but
established
our
above.
perception of time is subjective. As we all know, time can feel like it's speeding up or slowing down depending on the situation. It tends to
Throwing
slow
cluster
down
grenade.
quite a bit when we're in
They've got the
danger.
cash.
It's
Intercept them.
So it was believed by many philosophers over the years that time is completely subjective and that there is no objective absolute time. This is one of those things that was vigorously argued
They're
by
all
guys who
KSI.
standing around marble columns and stuff. But as the scientific revolution began to take hold, this argument sort of fell away and became replaced by an argument between what you might call relationalists and absolutists. Absolutists believe in absolute time. They believe that time is an independent constant of the universe that functions independently of our perception of it or by the interaction.
This guy just jump in the water and shoot him.
The relationalists saw time as
Oh my God, man, where did
arguing that the only reason time
A
exists
piece of a cluster. Nice
So
game.
theoretically, if you have a walled-off room where nothing happened inside of it for millions of years,
You worked at
technically,
K-Rut? I thought
time did
you
not
worked for a
pass
video game company.
Hey, I'm
You don't work for no damn video game company, dude.
Bro, you guys
That's my dream job. I would love to work for a video game company. I worked at a company. I worked for several video game companies, yes. I worked for a QA company. We did software and QA. And not QA as in like play testing, like QA, like quality assurance. And I've worked for several different video game companies underneath that. I worked for 2 Dots. I've worked for Giffy, Fireman Sam, Nickelodeon, etc. So yeah.
But if you shatter the
I work for one main company, and that main company has subcontracted and worked for other video game companies beyond that.
If you smash it on a road where cars drive over it over and over again every day, it'll get even finer and finer, smashed down into dust, which is an even more even texture.
Yeah, I worked in IT, not video games, but video games are technically IT, but more specific.
And it'll just become gas dissipated out into the universe. You get the idea. But the arrow of time only travels in that direction. That wine glass is not going to just reassemble.
Yeah, I'm not now reading because I don't want to, or because I'm spoiled or some shit like that. And of course I worked at Kmart. I actually meant TJ Maxx this time around, but I did work at Kmart years ago.
There's only one way for all the balls to be in one box and not in the other. Whereas
Technically, I'm still employed at TJ Maxx. They just haven't been giving me hours. I worked at Kmart like over 6 years ago, right before. Actually, while I was in, I was coming out of school getting my A+ Net Plus certification, and like right when I came out, I stopped working at Kmart and got the job with this company. And then since then, I stayed at the job for like 6 years, making decent money.
Different arrangements that could make that happen. So statistically, if you randomly distributed the balls, there was a much higher probability of a 10-10 or an 11-9 distribution than a 20-0 or a 19-1 distribution. Now, if you apply this to atoms and energy, the same rules apply. Atoms in the air.
Did that maybe shed some light? Like maybe now you understand a bit more why that was like crazy ass statement.
One room isn't going to have a higher pressure than another. And when it really gets interesting is that Boltzmann predicted load inside.
Like it's a pass for people who just come in. Like it's just passing through. I've never seen them on the turn before, and they're passing through, and they're like, "Oh, why don't you just get a job?" It's like, okay, yeah, you don't know the situation. But I was shocked as fuck. Like as somebody who's come around somewhat during the whole shit, has seen periodically what was going on, has knows kind of the situation, knows what's happening, to be like, "Oh, just get a job, bro. Just do that. Just start a business. Just you don't have any fucking money. You want to start a business and want to do that, and you can't in your own life. Why? The same reason. Think about it. Maybe some different circumstances here and there, but why can't you do those things either? The same exact shit.
There is a more philosophical debate about the nature of time and how it actually progresses, and this falls into two camps of tenseless and tense theories of time. The tense theory of time states that the future does not exist yet, but there are branches of time that kind of spread out as
I got a plane from the dojo.
The tenseless theory of time states that the future are all equal.
Yo, your reaction still fucking corny? It could be corny. I'm not allowed to feel the way I feel. I'm frustrated. It's my situation, not yours. You still said some dumb shit.
Yeah, a whole other kind of words that I won't get into here.
He laughed.
Absolutely.
He said, fuck that
Time was always considered to be an infinite force in the universe until Einstein came along and realized that time and space are two sides of the same coin.
So a corny reaction for a corny ass statement.
Actually, to be fair, Einstein was one of two people who proposed this theory of space, the other one being Hermann. Einstein stated in his 1905 paper on special relativity that the laws of physics and the speed of light must be the same for all uniform.
Look, bitch, stop running.
And for this to be true, space and time can no
Thank
longer
you.
be independent. This was the only way for the speed of light to be constant for the observer. But it was maybe 3 years later we came up with the idea that space and time could be seen as a single four-dimensional space-time fabric. He closed out his paper on the subject by saying, henceforth space.
Yeah, it's whatever. Exactly. Now you understand better, even if you didn't know. Like that was very good. That's that crazy shit, dude. People tell a dude no jobs or nothing, was filling out applications, was beating the feet all the time, was doing the stuff. Who's really on the grind to just tell her, hey, just get a job, bro. You got it.
The universe
got a job.
Space that encompasses
Just get it.
expanding. We know this because the further away a galaxy is, the faster it's traveling away from us. And that's because the space between us and that galaxy itself is stretching. And the force behind the stretching is what we call dark energy. Dark because
get the cash to the extraction site.
So could it be that since we know that space and time are connected and that they are expanding, that what we perceive of as the forward motion of time is in actuality simply the expansion of space-time. And if we came to understand dark energy and were able to reverse it, would that actually constrict space-time and in effect reverse time? And this leads me to one of my biggest pet peeves about the way time is portrayed in TV and movies. Because you always see it as if someone is just kind of leaping from one time to another.
Hold your positions.
Where
the enemy team is running low on lives.
About it, because as time and space are connected, then you're not just jumping to another time, you're also jumping to another point in space.
To the victor
So
of
you're basically
spoils.
teleporting.
That'll be us.
And nobody ever talks about that. So, I mean, consider that the planet is revolving at 1,600 kilometers an hour. So, if you went back even 5 minutes, you would wind up like 100 kilometers off of where you started.
Quartermaster's open for business. Stock up.
The Earth is also rotating around the Sun, and it's traveling like 30 kilometers a second going around the Sun. So, you would wind up like 9,000 kilometers off from where you started, which means you're either stranded out in space, or you're like buried in the mantle and like vaporizing underneath
It's cool though. Even if we're on like that level of conversation, or if we're going down there's like so much better shit to talk about and other shit to talk about on the planet.
On the Milky Way at like 230 kilometers a second. So you would wind up like 70,000 miles, of course, from where you started. It's not a good situation. And that's only going back 5 minutes.
Walked in front of the door when I had him right there. And exactly, and it's not even him that killed me because he would have died.
To not wind up stranded
I walk all the way into the door.
Cash is ours. Double time it to the extraction site. They're running out of lives.
There's almost no way to pull it off. So the only conceivable way, anyway, to go back in time is to go back along
One tango
the
left.
same timeline
Take him out.
that got you to where you were in the first place. So, what would that look like? It would look something like this.
Our
To the outside
reputation's
observer,
built on
time would be exactly that, a person in reverse. The perspective of the reverse time.
Oh shit, does the streak continue? That I contributed nothing to this game?
I can only assume this would have
On disability, man, I would take it right now. I have a disability for sure, some kind of, I like a social disability, I guess. Not like social anxiety, but I definitely have a social disability. I'm not wanted in certain spaces or worlds, and I'll speak my mind. I won't go out of my way, but don't bother me. Like, people fucking say some shit to me, and then I speak, and then it's a problem. But I would have never spoke. If you don't speak to me, I would have never said anything. I would have never went overboard. I would never go beyond the level that you produce.
Yo, it just
I would
hit.
never go beyond the level that you present.
It was blinking earlier, but now it just hit.
You're friendly to me in the workplace. You're friendly to me in the school environment and public environment. I am 100% friendly to you, probably even more so.
I put a mesh
But the minute you step over, it's like, dude, I'm going to step over, and not in a physical way, obviously, because that's stupid and unwanted, and that's undesirable, and will land you in jail or just like shunned in general. But you're gonna say some snarky shit to me. I'm not supposed to say shit. What kind of shit is that? And you know you are. I'm looking in your face. I'm looking at your emotion, your responses, your eyes, your everything, every bit of your body language when you do so. And I'm not supposed to say shit. Get the fuck out of here, dude.
I was watching, but by the time it was, you know what I mean? I thought you heard him too. I could barely hear him. I got the music on.
A social disability right now.
I wasn't sure if I was able to hear him or not. It was
I'm not talking about you.
We got to play. Never mind.
I'm talking about what I mean. Yeah, if I knew how, because I definitely do have fucking social disability at the moment. If I could find some way to make it so that I can get some help for it, that would be amazing. If I can get some help in some way to sustain based off that.
Yeah, if they won, it would have been another game. More XP.
Because trust me, I would much rather remove myself from this. I would rather not say anything. I would rather not say or be as pleasant as the person is.
We interpret time as a proportion of the time that we've been alive. So if you're 4 years old, 1 year is 25% of your life. It is 25% of everything you have ever experienced.
Play the game, let's smoke.
But
Exactly.
1 year is
Yeah, people do it all the time. You've experienced it, you live life. If you live life, you gotta feel it. You gotta have felt it at some point. What do? You either say some shit, or you don't, or you hold that. What do you do as a person? What do you do personally as a person, depending on the situation? Cause I think you might change it depending on person or change it depending on whatever. Cause people tend to do that. But what would you do in your life, in your situation? People saying snarky shit to you on the road or on the above, and they're really saying it to you. You're looking them in the eye. They're saying it to you. They're saying what they're saying to you. They're telling their little jokes, or they're saying whatever. They may present it as a joke or present it as these things, but you know what they're saying, and they know what they're saying, and do it. What do you do? Hold that, or do you say something? That is equal or equivalent. You don't say, somebody doesn't make a little joke, and you're like, oh, that's why your mom died. That kind of thing. It's not that. It's not about that. But you can't say something back. You can't respond. You know what I mean?
And how has theory solved those problems? Using fun, interactive games and puzzles, this course will give you a deeper understanding.
Especially the little fast joints, people like to say, the little fast, split second, little under breath responses, the little so you that's why you're loud. Those little shits. You're not supposed to say anything. You hear it audibly. You said it so I could hear it. You know what I mean? So what are you supposed to do?
And with their new daily challenges feature, you can develop a learning habit to keep that brain growing all throughout the year. You can sign up for free at brilliant.org/answerswithjoe.
That color
get
is
access
cool as
to
well.
their weekly brain puzzles and teasers and stuff. And if you like that and you want to go further, the first 200 people that sign up for their premium subscription, which gives you access to all their courses,
secure the cache and get it to the exfil site.
Don't just get smarter, get brilliant. Brilliant.org/answerswithjoe. Links in the description.
A website can make you brilliant.
To Brilliant for supporting this channel, and a huge shout out to my supporters on Patreon.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm ashamed of my gameplay right
As I
there.
call them, they're growing a great community. They're doing great things, supporting this channel, keeping the lights on. You want to join us? We've got some new people who join. I got a Murder the Name. We got Tommy Fan, Rob Christian, Robert Keller, Raging Cactus, Will Cooper, Rebel Aiden, Ross McLean, Rasmus Corpse.
Hey, what's up, Barry Yasmin? How's it going? Welcome.
My lord. Thank you guys so much for joining. And if you'd like to join them, get early access to videos.
Don't really care about little shit. I don't really care either. It doesn't bother me at all. It only bothers me in situations where I can't do anything about it. Like I'm, like obviously somebody says outside, like I don't mind. You know, somebody says something in the street, you know, things like that. I don't mind. I'll just say a little shit and I'll move on. I'll forget about it within that second. But trust me, in the workplace, in school situations and environments, that little stuff actually like piles up. And when it does pile up and you do say something, it's fine. Like your first little ones, you know, people don't know you like that. People do anything to test the waters, and you know they'll talk to you, they'll react, see how you react. They're running their own game or not running their game, or they just don't know what they do know. So you never know. Like there's a whole mess of combinations or compilations of people, or what makes a person. A person is so much different things rolled into one, so you never know. So those first few times, it's like always a figuring out situation. But if it's something that a person is actively doing,
did you know the center of the Milky Way is basically a giant daiquiri?
Get the fuck out of here.
B2 gas cloud at the center of the Milky Way galaxy found that it's actually very rich in ethylformate. Ethylformate is a building block of amino acids, which are building blocks of proteins, which are building blocks of life itself. But it's also a component that gives raspberries their flavor. And it smells like rum.
We have the cache. Locate the exfil site.
Or bubblegum flavor. How has no bubblegum company ever capitalized on this? Very, very Milky Way flavor. Hubba balubba. It's a galaxy of flavor.
Fuck you, motherfucker, man.
With the IRAM radio telescope, and the reason why they were able to find it is kind of fascinating. What this molecule does is it absorbs radiation and then re-emits it at a different radio frequency, which the IRAM telescope is able to pick up. These kinds of investigative techniques have taught us some very...
Yeah, all is not well, but aside from that not being well, all is well.
Some questions that we still don't have the answers to. So here's 5
Literally just have the one issue, but I'm fine. Aside from that, I'm glad to hear all is good with you too.
Number 1, missing baryonic matter.
The enemy team is
You
running low
already
on
know that
lives.
the universe is made up of 70% dark energy, 23% dark matter, and only 4.6% is regular baryonic matter as we know it. And it's called baryonic matter because baryons are the types of particles that go in kill. But did you know that 4.6% of matter that we actually know about? 90% is called the missing baryonic matter.
Yeah, I hope things are going well for both of you guys, to be honest. Like for real, like no, everything aside, and my current like small air of negativity or negative undertones. I really hope everything is going fucking swell for you guys.
So the more baryonic matter that's out there, the quicker this would form heavier elements like lithium. But if there was less baryonic matter, it would form lighter elements like hydrogen and helium. So by looking at the chemical composition of the universe, they can figure out how much baryonic matter there was starting out, right up to the Big Bang. And the amount that they're measuring is nowhere near what we're observing. Another measurement looks for irregularities in the CMB, the idea being that since baryonic matter interacts with photons and light, it would leave some kind of imprint
because they're complicated. Exactly, but I made the mistake, and I hope you don't do it. If you're anything like me in that sense, don't make the mistake of not dealing with anyone because of that complication. I know exactly what you're talking about, and that's why I didn't deal with people at all. To be honest, you say your friends list is small. My friends list is non-existent. I have 0 friends, and I'm not exaggerating in the slightest. I have no friends because of those same complications. It's quite annoying. But don't not interact with anybody whatsoever, because then you land in situations like this where if you can't, where the slack that is usually taken up by, you know, having some friends to reach out to, having some people you say, hey, put in a good word for me. Hey, you know, that person's thinking about you in the back of their head when they're considering for a position or considering, hey, you know, I got an opening over here, or maybe this guy might know some guy, or, you know, those kind of things. That is very important. That's more important than you might think. So don't ever lose sight of that kind of thing. Don't make your friends list non-existent. Don't make your interactions non-existent. It will hurt you in the end. Same here. I often don't talk to people as well. IRL, do not speak. I'm like a fucking dog. Like, unfortunately, I'm like a dog. Like, I will literally bite you. Like, I don't speak. I won't interact. I won't really bother you. I won't anything. If you're nice to me, I'm overly or tremendously nice to you. But the second I'm like, you're trying to say some shit to me, like, I definitely do bite. And like I said, within reason. Like I said, we were just finished talking about not in situations where it's like you don't know the person. It's their first interaction or infraction. It's their first, you know, slight of you, whatever. That's fine. But after a couple of times, when you notice that it's a real thing happening, or they're really doing something to you, or trying to get at you in a way, then what am I supposed to do?
Not from our galaxy, but from other galaxies. Now these are just your garden variety cosmic rays. There's also ultra high energy cosmic rays, which are
like the
capable of
Four
holding
Seasons,
10
come
to
and go.
20
Definitely,
electron
exactly. And I'll let them
have
all
one for a
go.
lot of reasons.
Like an idiot.
have no
You can't
idea
do
how
that,
particles
man. You
move
gotta,
so
there's people you have to hold on to. I have family for sure. A small family, a handful of family. I could count on my 5 fingers. I have family. But I don't have friends. I don't have whatever. I have friends like, you guys like friends like online. Like I have my net friends. I don't have IRL friends whatsoever.
Now this would suggest that particles that are traveling faster than that limit, which are called trans-GZK particles, would be coming from a point of origin fairly close by. But there's nothing out there close by that could be doing this that we can see. It's assumed that the most high-energy particles in the universe must be coming from some of the most powerful forces in the universe.
He got up. He actually got up. The fuck? And he shot me. Man got fully up and got the immunity from the stand-up and killed me.
Ricocheted back and forth inside the shock wave of the supernova, giving it extra momentum and flinging it out at this kind of speed.
They revived all of each other. And what a round.
And they all sitting behind that truck by distraction.
What a round that was.
In 2007,
not by distraction, out that door. Yeah, my bad.
Zero, neutralized. Observatory in Australia, when they ran across something new, an extremely strong radio signal that only lasted 5 milliseconds. So take a second, divide it into 1,000. This lasted 5 of those. But it was extremely powerful and weirdly only in the radio spectrum. This particular anomaly was called the Lorimer burst, but since then 17 more of these fast radio bursts have been observed.
They're extracting the cache. Stop them.
Fast radio bursts. The problem with FRBs is that it's next to impossible to figure out where they come from because they're so short. And they're also totally random and never repeat each other. The first one we've ever caught in real time.
Oh my god, he did it.
Because it happens so randomly,
he got the extraction. He avoided it so quickly.
What a turnaround.
He avoided that kind of
But this got thrown for a loop recently because they did find one repeating FRB 121102. And because it was able to repeat, they were able to watch it in real time and get some really interesting information.
Every purchase
One thing,
counts.
they were actually able
Choose
to trace
carefully.
its origin a little bit. They were able to trace it to a dwarf galaxy in the constellation Auriga, 3 billion light years away. The other thing is that this signal was twisted by something called Faraday rotation, which basically polarizes the radio frequency.
No clue. What have you been playing at least? I installed Persona 5 yesterday.
The best guess as to what could be doing this was that the radio signal...
What kind of people like me? All types of people. Every type of people. I can definitely say that I'm also a bad judge of character. For sure, I've been a bad judge of character in the past. The people I chose to surround myself with, or the people I chose to hang out with on a regular basis, etc. But I mean, all types of people. Some people are great. But can I say I've developed friendships with them or be friends with them? No. But I meet nice people all the time. Like people that are genuinely just nice and cool. Yeah.
It just happens to pass us by once, and then the rotation of the galaxy.
We're talking about something specific. We're talking about friends and friendship.
That one repeating one had 500.
Meet a lot of great and nice people.
Man, what a fucking lag.
There's actually multiple kinds of FRBs.
But when you think about the majority of your interactions, you can meet a lot of great and nice people. But when you walk away, that's it. That interaction or that meeting ends there. That situation ends right there.
One mystery, there's an even bigger one underneath, and one of the biggest ones is
back to being estranged.
You know, reionization. That thing. This might require an explanation. So right after the Big Bang, the universe expanded rapidly, known as the inflationary period.
I just saw the guy there. You get behind this pillar.
Enemy squad has the cache. Stop
There's
them
a
from
thing called
extracting it.
recombination, which caused all these ionized particles, protons and electrons, to come together to form.
I fucking lagged out that shit.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
This is about 380,000 years after the Big Bang.
And then
And this was
just
the
keep moving.
beginning of the universe.
This foot jumping around.
Damn.
Nothing to create light in the early universe. No stars, no galaxies, just a universe of neutral hydrogen.
We have to go
Then
again.
between 400 million and a billion years after the
RE7
Big
the other
Bang,
day.
something
Still playing
interesting
Tales of
occurred.
Vesperia.
Hydrogen gas.
Damn, you beat RE7 before me. I started it way before you. That's crazy. But yeah, I kind of put it on hold for a good while. The game is good. What did you think about it?
The problem is when we look
Vesperia I want to get to.
Doors open. Stock up and take it to
both the number and size of the stars, there's not nearly enough energy to reionize everything. So where did this
Yeah, I started
ionizing
7 like
radiation
months
come
ago.
from? Nobody knows for sure. And it's one of the biggest mysteries in astrophysics.
Would you say it's like worth getting through it? Like it was really good?
In a paper from 2016, a team of physicists supposed that it might have something to do with what's called the Lyman continuum. It's a special type of radiation that doesn't normally emit.
Get the
from
cache at the
galaxies because it
extraction
runs
site.
into a barrier, neutral hydrogen. But they did find a galaxy. They call it a green pea galaxy because it glows green, and it actually they think was very similar to the types of galaxies that exist in the early universe. And they found that this galaxy, coined J0925 plus 1403, actually emits this Lyman radiation far more than most galaxies do, which would allow it to ionize 40 times more gas than a regular
We're
galaxy.
running low on lives.
And if this was
Started
a common
RE7
type of
Monday. It
galaxy
was
in the
great,
early
even though you
universe,
generally
it would
what?
be part of the reionization. And number 5, the Himiko cloud.
Your last
Studying
asset.
with the reionization epoch of the early universe, in 2009, scientists found a gigantic
This is Charlie
object
Fox.
12.9 billion light years away, dating from the very earliest universe. An object that shouldn't exist. It's one of the
I
oldest
started 7
objects
on
ever found in
Monday.
the universe, and it's
Even though you
huge,
generally don't like
55,000
first-person
light
games,
years
same
away.
here. Like I know I'm playing a first-person game right now, but yeah, I'm not really into FPS that much. To be honest, I don't know why. Maybe it's because all those years of playing like RPGs and stuff like that. That you're just genuinely looking for something different. But yeah,
It might be a huge cloud of ionized gas.
so yeah, you just sat down and
caused
plowed
by
through it for a
supermassive
week.
It could
That
be a
seems like it's
merging of
compelling.
two
I'm gonna try to
different
finish it
galaxies
up. I was making good progress. I don't know what happened. It just put it on hold and like haven't come back to it.
Back out. We need to help mom with that
I'm very
tree.
surprised by this discovery. We've never imagined that such a large object could exist at this early stage of the universe's history. According to the concordance model of the Big Bang cosmology, small objects form first and then learn to produce larger systems.
Also, another thing is I'm not really into horror, so that might be a thing too. Like it's not my favorite thing in the world, like the genre itself. Friends are hard to come by. Friends are definitely hard to come by, but they're very valuable when you do have them. Like when you have real genuine friends, it's a great thing. It's a really beautiful thing. Yeah, like it looks cool. It is cool. It's a cool game.
Galaxy formation in the early universe and the evolution of the universe after the Big Bang. Often in science, it seems that the more we learn how much we have to learn. It seems like everything.
Vesperia is cool, so I'm gonna get to it. It seems like a better one than like Zillia.
We're just making it more mysterious. I guess if nothing else, at least we know what it tastes like.
Like I enjoy Zillia, and I have to finish Zillia too.
If you want to learn more about it, a great place to start is Brilliant.org. Brilliant has a whole course.
Wait, Vesperia is the one with the dude, or is Vesperia is the one with the girl, right? The girl with the arm. That's Vesperia, right? That one's not bad. I'm thinking about. I might be thinking about before that. The tales before that with the dude is like he has I believe black hair and wears like blue. That one I did not like. It was so like standard fare.
Gives you access to all their courses. Get 20% off for life. I love Brilliant. I think you will too. Brilliant.org/answers with Joe. Links down in the description. I want to thank Brilliant.org for sponsoring this video, and as always,
Alright, Berseria is fucking fire. Yes, that's the one. That one is good. I need to finish that. It's very good. Vesperia is the one I didn't like. That's the dude. Yeah, I'm not a fan. What did you think of Vesperia? I couldn't do it.
Eva Machikova, Morgan Kelsey, Steve Rehberg, Donald C. Klein, Mario Pellegrini, Jonas Classic.
Berseria made good progress, and I'm like up to the you know that village in the snowy region, the icebound region. Made it to there, which is not like crazy far, but it's a good amount in. I'm probably just gonna start over whenever I play it again. My character Vesperia wears black on black. No. He wears like blue. It's like a blue and white, like over thing, shawl or whatever you want to call it. Vesperia is one of the best in the series. Why? As a fan, are you saying as like a fan of the series? Tell me, like, let me know, because like I said, I'm not a fan. I don't know why. Like, it couldn't resonate with me. Like, why do you consider it one of the best?
Thanks again for watching. You guys know that now. I'm probably opening the week.
Just how we drilled it.
Cause I like Tails. I like Abyss. I like Berseria. I like Zillia and Zillia 2. So I don't know. Vesperia just couldn't really get down.
Doors open. Stock up and take it to him.
Wait, Zestria is the dude with like the blue and white shawl thing and the sword. That one is that one sucked. Okay. So Vesperia might legit be a good one. Cause I don't think I played that one then. That legit might be the best in the series. Zestria is garbage.
Get the cash at the extraction site. This round, but we're not done yet.
And I'm being like slippery.
Every purchase counts. Choose carefully.
Yes, I tried to play Zestria on PC a few years back, and I remember it was just like the most, like, I know that word is overused, but it was the most generic RPG that I played. Like, maybe that's what they were going for, but Jesus, it was generic. If you think about, like, even Star Ocean 2, right? It's considered, or could be considered generic, but it has enough stuff that it doesn't feel like that whatsoever. But Zestria was like super generic. Like, you had every just regular archetype in your party. You did nothing was really going on with the story. Like, plain, which was like plain. I couldn't. There you go. Vesperia, I would like to try out. I haven't played that.
Good job, Ryan. Do it again and we get to go home.
I get you, that's funny. I had to ask, but I'm sorry. I'm really sorry about that earlier.
Whoever stuck that shit, that was a mistake.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. All of them into it.
Yeah, it is overused, but it's appropriate there in terms of that game.
I've been grinding on my life.
Now, Abyss and Berseria? Oh shit.
Get the cash at the extraction site. We're running low on lives.
Yeah, like I don't think Berserk is the greatest game ever, but at least it had enough going on that it was interesting. I'm gonna see about this Persona 5 a little later. The installation didn't even take that long yesterday. Matter of fact, I'll play it in a little while. I'm gonna cause I'm supposed to hang out with my girlfriend today, right? So I'm gonna take a shower and shit. Let me find somewhere to take a shower, come back, and then we'll play that until she calls.
Get the cash at the extraction site.
So let me just get through this game.
Heal me.
You're running out of lives.
Got it? Alright, what's up?
We have the cash. Locate the exfil site.
They're gone.
Hold on.
Cash is being extracted. Hold your position.
Wow.
Damn, stop.
No lives. Exercise caution.
Persona 5 Royal coming out in March 2. Yeah, but I didn't even play vanilla, so I'm just gonna enjoy that. I'm probably not gonna play. Oh shit, you're calling right now. I'm probably not gonna play Royal. it took Royal to come out for me to finally play vanilla 5. I have to get over shit. Hello. Hi.
Purchase counts. Choose carefully.
Yes. But I'm not ready.
Okay, just tell me when you're ready, because I'm ready to, like, wait for you.
Alright, I'm gonna get ready in like a half an hour.
Okay.
Alright. Is that cool?
I got my nails done and my feet done. Yeah, I got my nails and my feet done in red color.
Ooh.
Get the cash.
Guess the name of the color.
I wanna see. Fuchsia.
Guess the name.
Enemy RCXD in your AO.
I just like the word
It
fuchsia.
has to do with you and my favorite thing.
Intercept them.
What?
It's called Jamaican coffee.
Wow, that's disgusting.
But they have like the best coffee.
That is true. Nah, I think Moroccan. If I'm not mistaken.
No, I like blue ribbon.
Okay.
Because it tastes light. That's why I like it. It tastes light.
Okay. It has a brown
Take them out. First think twice before trying that.
Oh, fuck, dog. Man.
Coffee.
I didn't have to charge my phone, so it's on 15%. So I didn't have to charge at Zeta's house. I changed my clothes.
I gotta take a shower and stuff. Get ready. So I'm gonna do that right now.
Okay, I already took a shower and everything like that. I just need to change my clothes.
Alright.
So I will see you when you get over here.
Later.
Later, love you.
Love you too. That was good timing on everything. Won the game. Won all that stuff. What you call it? I'm gonna go get ready. I can leave stream up if you guys don't mind, or if you don't care, or you're about to head out, I can shut her down too. So I don't know. It's up to you guys. I could leave like a video playing or something. I was done Persona another time.
You watching that State of Play on Tuesday?
Yeah, probably. Like whatever comes my way. Anything like it really, I'll at least check it out. As I'm streaming, which most likely I will be if I'm watching it, then yeah. We can watch together if anything.
Too early in the AM.
Hey, that's what the VODs are for. Or the re-upload. Can always watch it at a later time. I'm not gonna watch it as it's airing. I'm interested though. What does EA have to show off right now? No. Let me find something to look presentable in outside. Lord Vader. Oh yeah, let me play something so we're not just sitting here. if anybody was watching, how did the Dreamcast turn out? Alright guys, I'm gonna get out of here. My girl, I'll be back. Persona 5 a little bit next time we stream. Still playing Death Stranding, still playing a whole bunch of other stuff. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I will see you guys maybe tonight, if not, probably tomorrow. Peace.